public. Hence, their testimony will be beamed into the auditorium and carried by the TV networks and radios. What they ask for is that they be permitted not to present themselves physically, one, and secondly, that their image is not broadcast. Their respective images are not broadcast. They have lived in safe houses for extended periods, and their safety in those houses is supported in part by their anonymity within the communities that they currently live. If their faces are broadcast, then that anonymity is lost, not only for continued living within their specific communities where these safe houses are, but they'll never be able to live comfortably in any other community and try and integrate and live as normal a life as possible. It is on that basis that they request that their images not be published and therefore not be projected on screen. Their voices, however, will remain normal. They will not be distorted. Their names will, for the moment, be withheld. They will be disclosed in the fullness of time. So we refer to them, there are three of them, as Witness A, Witness B, and Witness C. It is accepted that those who know their voices will immediately identify them and know who they are. They believe that that is a risk that they have ways of mitigating, and they can live with the risk. It is their images that they would seek to be protected. So we appear before you here, and in terms of the ruling you made on the 16th of October 2025, with a slight amendment that in a bid to be as transparent as the Commission can potentially be, to share the testimony of its witnesses with the public, that we be permitted to run the testimonies of these witnesses in this auditorium with their voices heard, not distorted, but their images not projected. We did consider whether or not this mode would be prejudicial to the purpose and the terms of the Commission, and we conclude it is not, because their identities are irrelevant. What is relevant for purposes of public interest is the content of their testimony, and that will be heard in full. Any documents that must be projected on screen or that would have been projected on screen during the evidence of any witness will continue to be projected today. So to the extent that it is necessary, the projections will be made on the screen, become immediately available. When each witness has finalized their testimony, both their statement and the transcript in relation to their testimony will become immediately available with the necessary reduction to withhold their names. To the extent that it may be thought that that would be prejudicial in any manner, we do not support that contention, because those watching on national TV and hearing the testimony are in no more a beneficial position than those listening on radio. If those listening on radio are not prejudiced by not seeing the speaker and therefore able to identify the features of the witness, then we submit that even hearing their voices and their testimony on TV alone without image will not prejudice the nation and will not undermine the approach that this Commission has adopted to public hearings. On that basis, Chair, we would request that the next three witnesses, Witness A, Witness B, and Witness C, be accommodated in the fashion I have set out.
Thank you, Ms. Sillo. A ruling has already been made, but you have said that you are asking for an amendment.
To the extent necessary.
May I ask you to articulate that amendment in the form of a ruling?
We could put that together, Chair. I thought of an amendment because the current ruling speaks to in camera, and we are not in camera in the truest sense of the word, because here we are in public, where the testimony will be heard by the public as it is delivered. So that's why we say, to the extent that it is necessary to amend that ruling, then we would request that it be so amended to accommodate this current format, where the witness's voice is heard in the auditorium, in the absence of the witness who's testifying from a remote location, but without their voice distorted.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Ms. Sillo. The ruling then is that the ruling made last week is amended such that today's hearings, not only today's, in fact, the testimony of witnesses A, B, and C will be heard in this open session, subject to their faces not being seen. And also they will be testifying remotely.
Thank you, Chair. That's correct. Thank you. Chair.
With their names not being disclosed at this stage.
At this stage.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for the ruling, Chair. We are clarified.
Thank you.
We are ready to lead Witness A, if the commissioners are ready. And Witness A will soon, his voice will soon be beamed into the room, and he'll be led by Advocate Lee Sigal Ngube. Ready when you are, Chair. Thanks, Lee.
We are ready when you are. Thank you, Mr. Lolo. We are ready when you are, Ms.
Thank you, Chair.
Sigal Ngube.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Commissioners. Chair, the witness is Witness A, and we have spoken to the witness. He will take the oath.
Witness A, can you hear us?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning to you too. Will you affirm or take the oath?
I will take the oath.
Do you swear that the evidence you are going to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Witness A, should be two bundles that you have with you. The first is a smaller bundle from page 1 to 57. Do you have that bundle with you?
Yes, Commissioner, I have it.
Just a minute. Is it not possible to up the volume a bit, please?
Yes, we are trying to arrange for that, Chair.
Witness A, can you just speak again? Can you confirm that you have the bundle with you?
Yes, Commissioner, I do have the bundle with me.
Thank you. Chairperson, I want to suggest that bundle be bundle WA for Witness A. And then the second bundle that you have with you should be 455 pages long. Do you have that?
That's correct. I also have that one as well.
Thank you. Chairperson, if that bundle can be an exhibit, submitted as an exhibit, which is the Katiso Molefe bail exhibit, and it is exhibit CJC4. Thank you. Witness A, can we go back to the first bundle, which is WA? Can you confirm on page 41 that that is your signature that appears there?
Correct, Commissioner. It is my signature that is appearing on page 41.
Do you confirm that this is a statement that you prepared for purposes of your evidence that you will be giving before the Commission today?
That is correct, Commissioner. I do confirm.
Witness A, can you then go to page 1 of the WA bundle, which is page 1 of your statement? Can I ask you to confirm that paragraphs 1 and 3 are correct insofar as it identifies you and your career within the South African Police Service?
Yes, Commissioner, they are correct.
Now, you say in paragraph 2 of your statement that the statement is prepared for purposes of dealing with your evidence relating to events that transpired during 2024 and this year, which are relevant to the media briefing made by Lieutenant General Mkonazi on the 6th of July 2025. Can you, for the benefit of the Commission, tell us what it is that your role was insofar as the South African Police Service is? What do you do within the police service?
Thank you, Commissioner. I will start by saying that I am an investigator within the SAPS, and I am currently based at Organized Crime, which is the unit that is mandated to come to investigate crimes that are understood to be of a certain nature, in a sense that they are sophisticated and they need a certain approach in a way that they are being committed by syndicate, the organized groups. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. You also say in paragraph 5 of your statement, where you deal with what you refer to as the Swart murder investigation, that you are one of the investigators in that case. Can you briefly tell the Commission what the Swart murder is?
Ms. Sugo, perhaps we should place paragraph 3 on record. Just remember, I know what you're doing. The statement will be handed in, but we do have a transcript. And I think we should try as best as possible to put as much information in the transcript as is safe to do.
Thank you, Commissioner. I did ask the witness to confirm the accuracy of paragraph 3 for now, insofar as it relates to his career. Do you just want me to briefly say that it does deal with his career within the police service?
In that case, I have a question that relates to paragraph 3. The witness says that he was attached to a station and thereafter the 3O task team in Soweto. What exactly does the 3O refer to?
Witness A, did you hear the question from the Chair?
Yes, I got the question from the Chair, Commissioner.
Can you answer the question?
The 3O task team is the team that is formed to work on the case, specific cases that are classified as hijackings, house robberies around the area.
Okay. Perhaps Witness A, just read the whole of paragraph 3 into the record.
Yes, Commissioner. I started my career in the SAPS in July 2008 at the Basic Training College. Before that, I was a reservist. After college, I was attached to a station, and thereafter, I joined the Toyota's team in Soweto, which is a specialized unit focused on combating hijacking residential and business robberies. I remained in the Toyota team until 2021, and in late 2021, I joined Gauteng Organized Crime, which is the unit that I'm currently in, Commissioners.
And then in the next paragraph, paragraph 4, you say your SAPS 96 will be made available to the Commission if necessary. What's the SAPS 96?
The SAPS 96 is a document, Commissioner, that mentions what I've just said above. It mentions all the steps that I've gone through since I started in the police and the courses that I've attended and everything.
So it's an internal SAPS document that approximates what one could call a resume or a CV, or not?
That is correct, Commissioners.
Thank you, Chair. Witness A, we are now at paragraph 5 of your statement where you deal with the Swart murder investigation, and you say that you were one of the investigating officers. I had asked you to just briefly tell us what the Swart murder was before we deal with your role as an investigator.
Thank you, Commissioners. The Swart murder is referred, it is the murder that occurred in Vereeniging area on the 17th of April 2024. In brief, this is the case that occurred in the morning of the day that I've just mentioned, the 17th, where an individual was shot and killed at Vereeniging, and then the case was then given to us as a unit to investigate.
Okay. You then mentioned that...
Sorry, the individual being, the individual's name?
The individual's name is Mr. Armand Swart.
Thank you, Chief. You then did on the next page, you refer to many crime scenes related to this murder. Before we deal with the details of the scenes, could you just list the scenes and explain to us why there are 4 scenes that you reference in there?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. This Vereeniging murder was registered as Vereeniging case 275 of 2021, and it is referred to as a main case. And it has got another 3 cases that I would say are consolidated to it or joined under it. And then I will go on and say, as this murder occurred, it was also learned that there were other cases that were connected to it in such a way that the people that murdered Mr. Swart in Vereeniging were arrested at a different area, which is now primarily in Johannesburg. And then there was a docket that was registered there, and it was referenced as Bramley case 149 of 4/2024.
And then the Cliprafir in 7.2, you mentioned Cliprafir as well. Can you explain the relevance of that?
Yes, Commissioner. And there was also another case that was that would later be joined to Vereeniging as well as referenced as Cliprafir case 77/4/224. Here is a person that was arrested.
Sorry, not 224, 2024.
2024.
Yeah.
Sorry, Commissioner. Thank you for correction, Commissioner.
You may proceed.
On this case, there is a person that was arrested in Cliprafir and was later connected to murder. And then this docket was opened because he was found with a firearm and ammunition at that area. Then it was registered under Cliprafir area and given that number.
Under paragraph 7.1, which you have dealt with already, you refer to a street in Bramley and a house in Q. Is there a reason for saying a house without giving the street address?
Yes, Commissioner, there is a reason to that because that house belongs to the suspect that was arrested in Bramley. And then the reason for not giving the address is because that there is his family that is staying there that can be compromised if maybe this address can be given in public.
Thank you, Witness A. And then if you can tell us about 7.3, the Vereeniging Office Park.
Thank you, Commissioner. The Vereeniging Office Park is also referred to this case as a murder scene or a crime scene of Vereeniging. That is where the murder of Mr. Armand Swart occurred.
Okay, thank you. Witness A, at paragraph 8, you say you'll deal with each scene, and we'll get to that. At paragraph 9, you speak about your role in the investigation and that there is another witness, Witness B, who is best placed to deal with other events. Can you tell us why that is?
That is correct, Commissioner. Witness B is going to come after me and deal with this case in details, because at some time I was committed to other cases when we started with this investigation. So I will be doing this case and also attending other cases on the side. And then she was fully committed on this one from the word-go to this day.
Thank you. If we can then go to page 3 of your statement, where you then start with the Swart murder again at paragraph 10. And you don't need to repeat that because you've already dealt with the description of the murder. But if you can just tell us how you got involved in the investigation of the murder.
Thank you, Commissioner. On the 17th of April, 2024, I was on duty when I received a call from one of my colleagues that told us that he has gotten an instruction from our commander, Brigadier Khopane, that we must attend to a crime scene that was active in Vereeniging. So at that time, we didn't know what this crime scene was all about. And then I did ask him on the phone to give me more details about the crime scene that we were instructed to attend. And then his response was that he does not have full details. He's just given instruction that we must go to that crime scene at the address that was given to us at a time, and we will be briefed as we get to the crime scene.
Can I ask you, Witness A, approximately what time would this have been?
This was in the morning of the 17th of April 2024, at around 10.
So approximately 3 hours after the murder had been committed.
That's correct, Commissioner.
If we can then go to page 4 of your statement at paragraph 13, can you tell us what then you did next? You say that you arrived at the office. What transpired thereafter?
Yes, I arrived at the office because at that moment I was driving with Witness B in the same vehicle. And then we arrived at the office, then we got to this colleague of ours that was giving us the instruction from the brigadier. Then we requested him to brief us a little further about what we needed to do. And then he said all he has is the address where we need to go and attend. And then the number of the person that needs to give us full details when we get to the crime scene. And what happened, that colleague of ours jumped into the vehicle that I was driving, and then the three of us drove to the crime scene at Vereeniging.
Was there anyone else that accompanied you?
Yes, Commissioner, we were joined by two other colleagues of ours a little later at the crime scene, and they were instructed to be with us at the crime scene. We were initially told by the brigadier through the colleague that has just given us the instruction from the brigadier that it appeared as if the crime scene was huge and it will need more than 3 members to attend to, which is why we had to be joined by 2 extra detectives, which was Warrant Officer Mapalane and Sergeant Kunsi.
And you then, in paragraph 14, deal with what you observed when you arrived on the scene. Can you tell us, give us more detail on that? And this is now the Q Bramley scene.
Yes, Commissioner. When we arrived at the crime scene, we saw a lot of police vehicles marked and unmarked. And then we asked as to who was going to brief us. And then we arrived there, we found the TRT team, which is Tactical Response Team, and then the Provincial Tracking Team that were already at the crime scene. And then we requested to be briefed before the scene could be handed over to us.
And what did they tell you as part of the brief?
They told us that there were 3 people that had already been arrested in the Viano that was parked in the center of the crime scene at the street. And then they told us the information that they had at a particular time.
Sorry, Witness A.
Sorry, Witness. Mercedes-Benz Viano. I just want to give the full description as it appears from the statement. Apologies for interrupting you mid-sentence. Can you please repeat the last thing you were saying?
Yes, Commissioner. I was saying when we arrived there, we were briefed that there were 3 people that had already been arrested. And then furthermore, the members that were briefing us, they told us that those 3 people were arrested in a Mercedes-Benz Viano. That is a V-Class bus Viano that was parked in the middle of the street.
And what else did they tell you about the Viano?
And then they told us that this Viano belonged to one of the people that were arrested at the crime scene. They also told us that there is exhibits, or there are exhibits that were recovered from the Viano.
Okay.
And furthermore, they told us that these 3 suspects that were arrested there are suspected to be connected to a murder that had just occurred a few hours earlier in Vereeniging, the murder that I mentioned when I started on the statement of Armand Swart.
Now,
and they told us that they were going to hand over the scene to us, but promised that they will keep giving us information as we progress with the crime scene.
okay, in paragraph 15 of your statement, you deal with interviews with the suspects. Can you just elaborate on that?
That is correct, Commissioner. We started interviewing the suspect individually, and then we found that one of them was a police officer that was stationed at Johannesburg Central under Detective Branch. And then he introduced himself to us as Michael Puletawe. And then I personally asked him if he was not supposed to be at work, as it was a working day. And he told me that he actually is on duty.
Continue.
And the second suspect that was arrested with him introduced himself as Musakikane of Q, the house that I didn't give address to. He told us that he was a friend of Tau, and he was together with Tau when he was arrested in a Viano. And the third person that I will not name because he was not charged, he was released because we could not link him to the murder or any other crime that happened on that day. But he was arrested on that day because he was found with them. We had to ask him questions and see if he was connected to the crimes. But he did give his names to us.
And what did he say, what reason did he give for why he was with Tau and Kekana?
He told us that he knows Musa Kekana. Then he told us that Musa Kekana had just called him as he was coming to him, and then he said he needs a rim, the rim of a Mercedes-Benz. He told him that one of his friends was stuck in Vereeniging side, in the Val, Kibrifier, with the Mercedes-Benz that had a damaged rim. Therefore, they wanted the rim from him to go back to the Val to assist him.
And then insofar as the Viano is concerned, you said earlier you were briefed by the team that was on site that Tau, one of the suspects, was the owner of the Viano. Did one of the suspects take ownership of the Viano?
Yes, Tau did agree that the Viano is his.
Okay.
But he then told us that he was not driving it at the time when they were arrested. Musa was the driver.
Okay. In paragraph 16, you continue with what was observed on the scene, but you mention specifically items that were found at the scene. Can you deal with that?
That is correct, Commissioners. When we got there, we found that there were recoveries that were found in the Viano. Among the recoveries that were there were 4 cell phones, with one cell phone being a small phone that we refer to as a burner phone.
Can you?
Says that.
Oh, please continue. I wanted to ask what a burner phone is.
We refer to it, Commissioner, as a burner phone in a sense that it does not have internet capabilities. It does not have. It's those small phones that you do not have internet capabilities on. Usually, in the line of work that I'm in, we find suspects that they will have their smartphone, which is their personal phone, and they will use this so-called burner phone, which does not have the internet capabilities. We believe that when they use it, it's not easy for them to be traced.
I thought
So it is usually referred to as a burner phone.
I thought this related to the phone not having been registered properly. The verb used colloquially being that it has not been recorded. So a burner phone has nothing to do with it.
I won't be technical about it, Commissioner. I'm just saying it the way we understand it in the line of work that I do.
Thank you, Witness A. Insofar as the burner phone is concerned, did anyone claim ownership of the burner phone?
No, Commissioners. No one of them wanted to claim ownership of the phone.
And insofar as the other 3 phones that you found on the scene, what were you told about that?
The 3 other phones one of those phones was Michael Puller's phone. He said it was his. The other one was Musa's phone. He agreed that it is his. Then the other one, they said it belonged to the person that was arrested in Kibrifia.
And this would be the third suspect, which we'll get to later.
This will now be the third suspect that we'll get to later, correct, Commissioners.
Okay, and then in paragraph 17, you speak about additional material that was found on the scene in addition to the cell phones. Can you elaborate on that, please?
Yes, Commissioners. There was also a rim of a Mercedes-Benz that was also found in the Viano. And then when the suspects were asked about it, they said it belonged to the person that we didn't arrest. And then the explanation was that it was going to be used to assist the person that was stuck in Kibrifir in the Val.
Okay, what else did you find?
And then we also recovered 15 used cartridges of a rifle that were in a plastic bag, a transparent plastic bag, also in the vehicle.
Now, in your statement, you referred to these 15 cartridges as the infamous 15 cartridges. Why do you call it that?
Yes, Commissioners, these 15 cartridges were then later going to assist us to link the suspect to the murder scene in Vereeniging or to the firearms that would later be found in the house, in the crime scene that is also in Brandy, at the house that I didn't give address of.
Okay, and in addition to the cartridges, did you find any firearms?
Before you step off the cartridges, is it normal to find a collection of empty cartridges like this?
No, Commissioner, it is very abnormal, to the extent that we did ask the owner of the vehicle as to why these cartridges were carried around like the way they were. And his explanation was that they belong to his brother, who is a professional hunter, a sports. He gave a term. He said he's a professional. He belonged to a club that do sport hunting. Then we asked him, why do you carry them around? Then he said he was using the vehicle a previous day and he forgot them in the car.
But did they explain, or did he explain why the brother would have collected these and placed them in a plastic bag?
No, Commissioner, he failed to explain that part of the question because we did ask him. He failed. Totally failed.
Is it so that empty cartridges are found after a firearm has been fired? They fall off. As you fire, an empty cartridge falls off. Is that not so?
That is correct. That's what I understand with the firearms. If you fire, then the cartridge will fall off the ground.
So for cartridges to be found, collected and placed in a plastic bag, it would mean that someone must have picked up those empty cartridges and placed them in the plastic bag.
That is correct, Your Worship. That is what we concluded. We thought that it means someone collected these cartridges from the crime scene, maybe for the purpose to dispose of them, so that they cannot be linked to the firearm.
And
not
yes.
knowing that they will be arrested before they get rid of the cartridges.
Or I think right at the beginning of your last sentence, you talk about linking. So does it mean that from an empty cartridge you are able to tell what firearm was used to fire or to shoot? There is.
I would say yes, Commissioners. It will be. It is like that. You get the firearm, and then you get the cartridge, and then you can compare to say this cartridge was fired from this firearm.
So you must have both. You must have a firearm and you must have the empty cartridge.
That will be a technical question to answer.
All right.
But for us, it is very good if you have them both.
Yes.
Sometimes you can only find the firearm. You take it to ballistics. If you like it, they will tell you that the other crime scene has got the empty cartridge that is connected to your firearm. Then they do a linkage, and then you can do, maybe you get a cartridge without a firearm, then they connect it to vice versa. So with us it was good because we got the cartridge and the firearm. So I think it was easy for someone who was going to do the linkages in that sense.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Witness A, you say in your statement that the cartridges likely would not have been found had the team not apprehended the suspects that day. Is that what you were referring to earlier?
That's correct, Commissioners. That's what we thought as a team to say. These cartridges were going to be disposed of before we arrest the people.
Okay. I had asked you, you find the empty cartridges, but did you find any firearms on the suspects?
Yes, Commissioner. There was one firearm that was found inside the Viano in a sling bag, and then it belonged to Michael Puletown. He told us that was his firearm, a licensed firearm, a private licensed firearm.
And what type of firearm was it?
It was a pistol.
Just pause there for a moment. Was Witness A, it's Commissioner Kumalo here. The firearm that was found in the Viano that you say you were told belongs to Dao, was it a service pistol or his private pistol? And the second question, was it licensed? Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. This was his private personal firearm and it was licensed to him.
Thank you.
And maybe just to continue on that question, Commissioner, we did ask him about his service pistol as a police officer who was on duty, was supposed to be having it. Then he told us that he had long surrendered it back to the employer. He didn't carry it around.
Thank you. You then also speak about a license plate that was found. Can you elaborate?
Yes, Commissioner. Among the things that were recovered or found in the Viano was a set of license plate, the registration number, that was later linked to the vehicle or the Mercedes-Benz that was found where the third suspect was arrested in the Val at Cape Revere. That will mean the Mercedes-Benz was driving with a wrong plate number wherever it was at that given time.
Now, I just want to place paragraph 18 of your statement on record, given that this is still an ongoing matter. You say, any further information regarding the scene is not relevant to the Commission's work and may compromise the case if disclosed publicly at this stage. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yes, Commissioners, because more of information is the details that I think might compromise the case as the case is at a critical stage at court.
Thank you, Witness A. You then move on to the second scene, which is still part of the Bramley case number, which is the house in Kew that you referred to earlier. Can you tell us what transpired there?
This is what we referred to as scene 2 at Bramley, where now the second suspect, which is Musa Kekana, resided. In this crime scene, I didn't attend it myself because I had to go and attend the crime scenes that were at the Val. So I left other members to attend to it. And then they attended to it. Then we were communicating with them constantly with the recoveries that were recovered at the crime scene and what was going on at the crime scene.
And you refer... Continue?
Yes, Commissioners.
Continue, Witness A.
Yes, Commissioners. In this crime scene, we were told that the police that were attending there recovered a motor vehicle, which is a Hyundai i20, which inside had a bag that was loaded with 3 firearms, of which 1 was a rifle and 2 were pistols and a lot of ammunition.
Now, you say in your statement that the I-20 was spotted at the murder scene at the time of the murder on CCTV cameras. When were you informed of that?
That is correct, Commissioners. As I said, that we were briefed continuously as we were at the scene. The information that kept coming in was that in the morning at around 7 of the same day, which is the 17th of April, at the crime scene, 2 vehicles were seen in the CCTV cameras. And then one of those vehicles was a Hyundai, the same Hyundai that now is being recovered at Musa's house. And then we were told that this vehicle was driving around the crime scene, making turns with the Mercedes-Benz that was later recovered with suspect number 3 at Cape Revere. Now, this information is from the members that attended the crime scene at Vereeniging that watched the footage at the crime scene and told us that they seen these vehicles and then now gave information for us and other units to see if these cars that we're talking about match the description that they gave us.
Witness A, where you say these 2 vehicles were seen in the morning at the crime scene, which crime scene are we talking about?
I'm now talking the crime scene where Mr. Armand Swart was made at the Commissioner's in Vereeniging at Duncanville.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi. We have displayed the visual of the Hyundai and the WitnessA. I'm not sure if you can see the screen, but you do have hard copies of these documents, and I think you are able to look at it from your side on your computer. Do you see what we see, or do you have it on your laptop?
I cannot see it from the display, but I have it here with me from the documents that I have, Commissioners.
Okay, can you describe for us?
Can't we screen share for the witness to see, for us to be sure that the witness is looking at what we are looking at?
We can attempt to do so, Chair.
Witness A?
Just a
Yes, Commissioners.
While they are busy sorting out the visuals, when you talk about a Mercedes-Benz, just be clear because evidence is being transcribed. There's a Mercedes-Benz Viano and a Mercedes-Benz C200. So when you refer to a Mercedes-Benz, please just clarify which one you are referring to.
Thank you, Commissioner. In this instance, I refer to a Mercedes-Benz C200, which is a sedan.
Just a minute. I saw on my screen a whole lot of documents, and I'm not sure how safe that is.
We have redacted the necessary information, Chair.
So when I see all of those documents, I should not be worried.
No, Chair, not at all. It is just a description of what is shown in the photo, and the relevant personal information has been redacted.
All right. Thank you then. Are we still trying?
Yes, Chair. We're just trying to figure out how to share screen. Okay. Witness A, are you able to see the screen?
Yes, Commissioners, I can see the screen clearly.
Okay. Can you tell us what we're looking at here?
At the screen, I'm seeing two vehicles. I will talk to the one that is in front of the buggy, which is a white item. Then it looks like it is actually a Hyundai i20. That was it. So
We can hear you.
the vicinity of the crime scene. Just 7 o'clock. It's actually 7:01.
Yes, that's the second one. We'll go there now. That's the second image. Can you hear us, Witness A?
And in the second image, it is the same. Sorry, Commissioners.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Commissioners. In this image, it is the same vehicle, the Hyundai i20, and then on this one, it is seen with the vehicle that was driven by Mr. Swart, the deceased.
If you can go to the next one.
Yes, Commissioners, the next one is now the vehicle of the deceased standing right in front of the gate of where he was working, and then we're seeing the Hyundai i20 standing next to it.
And this is the Hyundai i20 that was found at the house in Kew.
This is the Hyundai i20 that was found at the house in Kew, the house that belongs to Musa Kekana, who was arrested with Michael Puletam.
Just a moment, Advocate Seagulls. Witness A, the other vehicle that you've described and you say was being driven by the deceased, can we please identify it? Make and model? You don't have to give us the year. I assume you won't know. Just the color, make and model.
Correct, Commissioner. I wouldn't know the year model, but it is a Ford double cab buggy.
So it's a silver Ford Ranger.
It's a silver Ford Ranger double cab. Thank you, Commissioner.
Witness X, Elvada, if you just go back to the very first shot, Mr. Giles. Yes. You've got two vehicles there. There's the white one, which I think you've identified as the Hyundai i20. Is your evidence that the silver vehicle that we see there is the vehicle driven by Mr. Swart?
Correct, Commissioner. Please.
Okay, let's go to the second shot. And you say that yellow circle there, it's that Hyundai now in the middle of the road. And perhaps for the record, we should describe where it is. In the first shot, the vehicle is on the side of the road. Is that correct? In the very first shot?
That is correct, Commissioner.
Now, in the second shot, there's a white vehicle circled in the middle of the road. You're saying it's the same vehicle? The I-20 Hyundai?
This is the same vehicle.
And the one in front, you say that's Mr. Swart?
That is correct, Commissioner.
Let's go to the third shot. Now, in the shot just above, Mr. Gill, there are two shots in the picture. The first one now shows the white vehicle almost abreast with the silver vehicle, both facing in the same direction. Is that the same vehicle that was in the middle of the road in the previous shot? Is that your evidence?
That is correct, Commissioner.
All right. Now, and that is still the Hyundai. Now, in the second shot of what we are looking at, there are in fact two vehicles, white vehicles, and none of them is facing the same direction as the silver vehicle. Can you just explain that for the record? What are we seeing on the record? Which one is the Hyundai I-20? Where is it facing now? Because you have two vehicles now, and there's only one car that's facing towards us in this picture, and it's the silver vehicle. Just explain the shot we're looking at.
That is correct, Commissioner. The Hyundai vehicle will be the one that is facing to the vehicle of the deceased, Mr. Swart. And then that other one, I think it is the vehicle that is just in motion on the street, is driving past.
So the one closest to the silver vehicle, you're saying that's the Hyundai I-20?
Correct, Commissioner.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gutz.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi.
Before we leave the photos, I see that above the top photo, there is commentary. I'm not sure if this witness is going to be giving evidence on that commentary or if it's for somebody else.
No, it's not for this witness.
Thank you.
Can we go to page 6 of your statement, Witness A? At paragraph 20, you then deal with the Viano belonging to Mr. Tau, which you also say was parked at the house in Q.
That's correct, Commissioner. This Viano that belongs to Tau was parked at Q during the commission of crime. Q, which is the house of Musakekana.
In your statement, you are not as categorical as you are now. You say it appears that the Viano belonging to Tau was initially parked at Kekana's house. Do you want to explain the difference in how you phrase this?
Yes, Commissioner. I think that is just a wording. The fact is that it was parked there because when this Hyundai I-20 drove back from Vereeniging, it was actually surveyed and followed by the people that are working with the police, and it was seen entering the house that belongs to Musa, and then the Viano drove out of the house. So that puts the Viano right where this I-20 was recovered later on.
Thank you, Commissioner. Then we do have the tracker information for the Viano, which we have displayed. Can you see it, Witness A?
Yes, I can see it, Commissioners.
Can you tell us what we're looking at and what does it confirm?
It confirms that this Viano was actually a house that belongs to Michael Puletau at that given time, which is 3:12 minutes in the morning when the ignition started. Then at around 3:31, then it was parked and the ignition was switched off at Musa's house. So it is confirmed that it was parked there in a duration when the crime was committed in Vereeniging.
You are referring to the last entry there. I don't know if you can see it clearly, where it says 17 April 2024 at 0403, Viano arrives at Musa Kekana's house, ignition off.
Yes, Commissioners.
Thank you. In paragraph 21, you had already...
It's about what was happening, what was recovered in the crime scene, which is held by in the house of Musa.
And then insofar as you refer to a large amount of ammunition that was found in a bag in the I-20, was this used ammunition or unused?
No, these were bullets, like the unused live ammunition, as they would be called, commissioners.
Thank you. Can we then move on to the third scene which you refer to with reference to a case number, Kliprofil? We are now at paragraph 22 of your statement.
Yes, Commissioner, the third scene will be the scene that was at R59 North at Engine Garage, where the person that was arrested there is TF Floyd Mabusela, and he was driving that Mercedes-Benz, the C200 grey in color. So he was stuck there with his ring damaged. And then this is also a vehicle that I mentioned earlier on, that it was seen in the CCTV video footage at the crime scene before the shooting of Armand Swart.
If you can just pause there, Witness A, so that we can project that, so that you can explain it.
Yes, Commissioners.
Can you see the screen?
I can see the screen, yes.
Okay, please proceed.
As I was saying, Commissioners, this was seen in the morning driving around the crime scene together with the I-20 that I spoke about in the previous paragraphs. And it was now found at the garage in R59 in Kliprofil area with the person that was arrested there, who was later known to us as TF Floyd Mabusela.
If I can just ask you to be more detailed about that insofar as the timeline is concerned and what it is that we are seeing on our screens. If you can start with the first one, which says 17 April 2024, and it says at 5:45. What are we looking at?
We are looking at CCTV cameras showing the same Mercedes-Benz, the C200, driving around at the area of Vereeniging.
Okay, it says that it's passing QTech.
Yes, Commissioners. QTech is in Vereeniging, and in QTech is our crime scene. So it is picked up.
Sorry, Witness A, I apologize for interrupting you. Perhaps what the witness should do, Ms. Seagulls, is read the captions there into the record.
Thank you for the direction, Commissioner Baloyi. Did you hear that, Witness A? Could you read it into the record for us, the description?
Yes.
You can start with the first entry at 5:45. Apologies.
Yes, 17 April 2024, 5:45. CCTV camera shows a silver Mercedes C-Class driving past QTech towards Woodcop Road. It turns right onto Woodcop, then it's giving us DVR time.
You can just read it to explain the difference between the time that the actual footage is and displays and the time of the caption, because there's a time difference. So just read that into the record as well.
It says the DVR time is 6 minutes long than the actual time that is depicted on the clock.
Okay, and the next caption.
Sorry, perhaps before you do the next caption, there is a vehicle on the road there. What vehicle is that?
This is C200 Mercedes-Benz that we are talking about, Commissioner.
Yes, and you say it passes QTech, driving past. In relation to that vehicle in this picture, which side is QTech here when we're looking at this picture?
As far as I understand the picture and understand the crime scene as I know it, the company or the QTech will be at the back of the vehicle on the left side.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi. Witness A, you can continue with the second caption.
Then the second caption is given the same date. The time will be 5:53. It shows a silver Mercedes-Benz class driving towards QTech from left of Woodcop Road. DVR time is 6 minutes long, meaning now it is driving to the opposite direction in comparison to the first footage that we were given above, which will technically mean it is coming back towards the QTech.
Okay, before you deal with the next one, what is it that you call this? What activity is this?
We call this in a terminology that is called scouting or surveillance, looking for the crime scene, looking for the dangers, maybe spotting the suspect, or even maybe looking for anything that could disturb you when you're committing the crime.
Thank you. Then we'll go on to the next one. Can you read the next one for us?
Thank you, Commissioner. The next one will be the same date at 6:49. It shows a silver Mercedes-Benz C-Class driving towards QTech from the right of Woodcobe Road. DVR time is 6 minutes slow.
Sorry, the next one?
The next one will show the same date at 6:45. QTech CCTV shows a silver Mercedes-Benz C-Class driving past the gate from direction of Woodcobe Road.
Can we witness in these two shots, they both have 6:49 as a time stamp, and that's what you say on record, and it can be confusing because they look different. These shots, can you give us the exact time stamp of the first one? Ms. Sigalsi, if you could just project fully the first picture.
Perhaps I could be of assistance, Commissioner Baloy. The first one, which says 6:49 in the caption, is obtained from CCTV footage other than QTech, so from another entity, and its DVR time is 6 minutes slower. So the 6:49 in that one is referring to 6:43 actually on the DVR system. The second one, it's also 6:49, but the vehicle is coming in the same direction, but it's being caught at two different cameras. So the time on the 6:43 is not an accurate time. You would have to look at 6:49 as the top one and 6:49:54 seconds, the second one. So it's within less than a minute of each other.
Yes, I think what I wanted to clear on the record is these are two different shots. They are not same shots, different angles or anything.
Correct. They're coming from two different cameras. The one is coming from a different entity, CCTV footage, and the second one is coming from QTech. That is why on the caption of the first one, you'll see it's been redacted. It's a redaction to show where it came from. It just says shows a silver Merc, whereas the second one, it will say QTech CCTV shows, so as not to identify the source of the first.
Okay. Just lastly, there's two timestamps. The first one, and perhaps to distinguish them, we should be referring to those, because in the first shot, in the body of the shot itself, you have 06:43:48, and in the second shot, you have 06:49:54. Is that not a distinguishing?
Correct, yes. Again, we can use the imaging. It's just that the time on the image is 6 minutes slower. So it's not an accurate reflection of the time that the vehicle was actually coming past there. The vehicle came past at 6:49, according to the record. So it is within seconds of each other, but from two different sources and in the same street. Witness.
Perhaps what we should do then is let's properly record. Let the witness explain it. Let's record the evidence, the witnesses' explanation of these two shots and any differences in them.
Witness A, did you hear? Can you just explain the two shots and the difference between the two shots?
Thank you, Commissioner. I think Advocate explained it better. The shots are from two different sources, and then the timestamps won't be the same. So, for the purposes of record, I will read the first one as 6:43:84 seconds from a different source, from a different camera. Then the bottom one will be read as 6:49:54 seconds from QTech CCTV camera as a source.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Baloy. And then if we can go to the last two images, insofar as the C200 is concerned. Can you see it, Witness A?
Yes, Commissioner. Thank you. On this one, I think it's the same scenario. We've got two shots from different sources. The first one is from QTech cameras, and then it shows it is the timestamp will be 6:52:28. Then we're seeing a same silver Mercedes-Benz C200 driving past the gate towards the direction of the road. And the bottom one will be from a different source that is not disclosed to us, which will be depicting the same vehicle, which is a C200 Mercedes-Benz, and the timestamp will read as 6:46:51. Then it reads as it shows a silver man driving past Q-Tech towards Woodcock. It turns right into Woodcock. Then they're giving us the time delay, which is 6 minutes.
Witness A, in these two photos, it looks like the Mercedes-Benz has turned around now because it's facing left. In the previous two photos, it was facing right, more or less 3 minutes earlier.
That is correct, Commissioner.
So is that consistent with your evidence that it was doing what you call scouting?
That is correct, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner Kumalo. So, Witness A, if we can then return to your statement and deal with what else was found at the scene where Mr. Mabusela was arrested.
Mr. Mabusela was found at the crime scene with a firearm, which is a pistol and ammunition, and one cell phone, which is also referred to as a burner phone.
Now, before you continue, can I just ask you to explain, because you said you found the vehicle had a damaged rim, and then you also referred to a license plate. Can you tell us about the license plate?
Yes, the Mercedes-Benz had a damaged rim, which now meant that the rim that was found in the Mercedes-Benz Viano in Bramley was indeed meant to come and assist this one. And then when the police checked the license plate on the disc, they found that the registration numbers that was recovered in the Mercedes-Benz Viano at Q-Tech actually was the correct registration number for Mercedes-Benz C200 that was found in Clipperfield.
If I can just understand what you're saying that the license plate for the C200 that's registered to the owner of the C200 was found in the Viano.
That is correct, Commissioners.
And then what license plate was found on the C200 in Vereeniging?
Oh, the license plate that was found there, it is a license plate that did not belong to the Mercedes-Benz. It was a wrong plate. It was fitted with a wrong plate number.
So the plate was actually on the vehicle. It wasn't in the vehicle. It was actually on the vehicle.
It was on the vehicle, like the front and back one, as it normally would be.
In your experience as an investigator, what would the reason for that be? Why would there be a fake plate on the C200 when that vehicle does have legitimate plates?
This would mean that because maybe if I can just, for the purposes of record, this vehicle belonged to the daughter of Mabusela. So using the wrong plate number would assist him not to be linked to the crime scene because it was picked up at the CCTV cameras with this registration number that was wrong. So I think the aim of putting the wrong plate number was for him not to be linked to the crime of murder in Vereeniging.
Thank you. You may continue with what was found. You mentioned the burner cell phone.
Before you do that, Witness A, you have given us the exact detail of scene 1 and scene 2, where exactly they were geographically. This third scene where Mr. Mabusela was found and arrested, where was it?
It was an engine garage in Clipperfield, northbound.
This is in Vereeniging.
This is in Clipperfield on the way from Vereeniging.
Thank you.
It was just outside Vereeniging.
Thank you, Mr. Gals. Thank you.
Witness A, let's get it right. The engine garage in R59 is between Alberton and Vanderbijl Park, I think. So it's halfway between Alberton and Vanderbijl Park. But when you travel to Vereeniging using the R59, you would go past that engine garage. Is that correct, more or less?
That is correct, Commissioners.
Thank you for the clarity, Commissioner Kumalo. You may continue, Witness A, with your regarding the burner cell phone.
Yes. So what was recovered on this suspect, who is now Floyd Diego Mabusela, was this burner cell phone and the firearm, of which he was arrested for initially, and then these two were booked into the taping as exhibits. And then this cell phone was later going to assist the investigation to link the suspect, who is Mabusela, with the other burner phone that was recovered in the first scene at the Vereeniging through communication. So this is the investigation that was carried on in a week that followed.
When you say in communication that the two burner phones were in communication with each other, at what point? When was this?
These two phones were found to have been communicating during the commission of crime and after the crime has been committed in Vereeniging. So the conclusion from the investigating team was that these two burner phones were utilized, or they were bought for the main purpose of communication between these two vehicles at the crime scene and maybe coordinating their movement from the crime scene.
If I recall correctly, you said that Mr. Mabusela's smartphone was found with the other two suspects at the Q Bramley scene. Is that correct?
That is correct, Commissioners.
Okay. Jay, I see that it's 10:58 and I'm moving on to the next scene. Should we adjourn for tea and then I can continue?
Let us adjourn and resume at 11:15.
By the police officers that are on duty. And then at that given moment, we thought that these people were civilian, even though maybe they were police officers, but at that particular time, they were not on duty because I don't think that they worked that side. They would have been doing that not in the capacity of them being police officers. So we regarded to them as just civilian people doing what was abnormal to do to a police officer who is doing his job.
Okay,
which is why we took a decision to report it to our commanders as we got to the office.
And who did you report it to?
We reported it to our Brigadier Hopan, who is the head of Organized Crime Gauteng.
Sorry, Ms. Sickles. WitnessA, perhaps let me take you back a bit just to make sure that I didn't mishear you. In paragraph 28, right at the end, the last sentence, where you speak about devising a plan to get rid of these vehicles that were following you, I understood you to say, and I'm just checking that, did I hear you properly, to say you decided to use the old Vereeniging road and these vehicles were still following you, but they were driving with you but did not try to drive you off the road. Did I hear you properly?
That is correct, Commissioner.
So where the statement says they still followed us and tried to drive us off the road, that is not correct?
No, Commissioner, I think that one will be at when we left the court.
I see. Not on the new road, the alternative road that you took?
No, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you for the clarification, Commissioner Baloyi. Witness A, you were dealing with the report to Brigadier Hopane about this incident, and in your report, in your statement, you say that it was not seriously pursued. What do you mean by that?
In my statement, I mean that it was not seriously pursued in a way that we were just told to be careful, which I mean it was just status to say, be careful where you are driving. But we were giving more members to transport now the suspects from different courts. They were not using, because normally they will use the van from respective stations to courts, but it was not like that. It was, they were giving a dedicated team to transport them, seeing that there are, high-profile suspects. And then initially we were told just to take care of our movements as we did our investigation or as we moved to court. Now,
in your statement, you also say that the fact that it wasn't taken seriously or pursued seriously is not a criticism of Brigadier Hopani. And then you say that it's merely to indicate that it was one of those incidents that disturbed us, but not enough for us to escalate the matter beyond a verbal report to our commander. And you say this is because in any event, at the time that I suspected that it was just disgruntled colleagues of Tau who were upset that we had arrested one of their own. So I just want to find out from you, at that stage, was it just the Johannesburg Central police officers that were in attendance that day that had given you that sense that you, the unnerving sense, or was it spread throughout the SAPS at that stage?
Yes, Commissioners. At this stage, we understood it to be only concentrated to his colleagues at the stations, as we believed it. And then we treated it as such until much later that we saw that it is wider than that. So we were only concerned about it at that level.
Okay, and
You can complete if you're still dealing with this paragraph.
I wanted you to just then, I think Commissioner Baloy and I had the same idea, for you to complete paragraph 30, and perhaps you can do it read it yourself, where it says, in my mind. Do you have it?
Yes.
Can you read it?
Then I was just saying, in my mind, I would not imagine a civilian doing something like what was done that day to a police officer that was doing their official duties.
Witness A, only.
Yes, Commissioner.
Yes, you can complete your answer.
And then this was the beginning, as we understood it then, of the ongoing attempts that were done to the investigating team.
All right. Let me ask my question then. On this first appearance, were charges put to Mr. Dow? Sorry, I forget his title.
Warrant officer.
To Warrant Officer Dow, was it put to him what it is that he was being charged with?
Yes, all three of them, Commissioner.
So, if you're correct that the people that were attempting to drive you off the road and following you, at that point they would have heard what the charge was that Warrant Officer Dow was accused of.
That would be the case because they were present at the court.
Yes, and so they would still have unnerved you and tried to drive you off the road, members of the SAPS knowing and having heard what he is accused of.
That is correct, Commissioner.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Eagles.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloy. Then, Witness A, if we can go to page 9 of your statement, you start a new topic there, and it is titled Initial Links to Katiso Molefe in the Swart murder. Now, can you just elaborate on what was the basis for these links? How did it start out?
These links started out as the investigations continued in this matter. Initially, we had these 3 people that were arrested for the murder of Armand Swart. And then when we did our initial investigation in what will be termed as cell phone communication investigation, we could see that there was actually a person behind the murder who was high up and who was actually ordering the hit of Armand Swart. And then that person was initially identified as Katiso Molefe, who was then later arrested in this case.
Okay, can I just ask you, insofar as the cell phone records are concerned, what data did you have available to you to make these links, and from which cell phones are we talking about?
We had call data record and then tower locations of all 3 cell phones, actually all 5 cell phones that were recovered during the arrest. That will be the ones that were recovered in Bramley and the one that was recovered in Clipperfield. But the phone that came with a lot of information in as so far as linking Katiso Molefe was the phone of Michael Pulletown, because it was seen in the records of his phone that it was him that was communicating a lot with Katiso Molefe.
Now, can I just ask you, insofar as the data is concerned, you mentioned in paragraph 33 of your statement that there was data analysis. You also refer to section 205 subpoenas. Can you just explain the difference between the two? Because there's a reference to downloaded information and section 205 obtained information.
Yes, Commissioners. In our cell phone investigation, if I can just give a brief of what we do, we would, if we are lucky to have the number of the person that we are investigating, we will ask for the call record of the period that will suit the investigation to see who he was communicating with, maybe in the tower locations, which will be the movement of the phone in relation to the suspect as well. And then the other part will be downloading the data from the actual phone, which will then mean that you take the phone to the expert to download the data for you, and then they give you the raw data from which you will have to analyze and take it from there in as far as doing your linkages.
Okay, and before we go to some of those linkages, you do say that you don't want to go into too much detail. This is at paragraph 33 of your statement, so as not to compromise the integrity of the ongoing investigation. I assume this is on the same basis as earlier on, that the matter is still in court. Am I correct?
That is correct, Commissioners.
And if we can also give context to the information that we're about to look at, this is just insofar as the information that was available to the team in early May 2024. So you're not speaking about information at this point, but as what you had at that time in May 2024.
That's correct, Commissioner.
Okay, can we then start with what is set out in paragraph 33.1 of your statement, where you deal with the links that you could see on the 12th of April, from information on the 12th of April 2024, which would have been 5 days before the murder. And we are, in this regard, Commissioners, referring to the information at WA1 of the statement, which starts at page 42. And we will also project the redacted version, but yours is not redacted. And Witness A, if I could, we're going to screen share, if I could ask you to only deal with the version that is on the screen, because that's the redacted version. And the first is that you say on the 12th of April 2024, 5 days before the murder, 1, Tau receives a call from Mr. Katiso Molefe at 11:36. There's a duration of 119 seconds. And 2, he makes a call, this is Tau, makes a call to Molefe at 11:43 of a duration of 14 seconds and arrives at Molefe, this is Tau, arrives at Molefe's home shortly thereafter at 12:36. Now, before you go to what's on the screen, can I just ask you, how did you know that that is Molefe's number if you didn't have his cell phone at the time?
Yes, Commissioner. Before we could start and doing our applications and maybe phone downloads and everything in terms of doing a cell phone communication investigation, we will do our background check, and then which is where we get the information that we will call the intelligence information. So at the background, we already had Katiso Molefe's cell phone number.
So you were able to establish that when we're talking about the data on 12 April 2024, that it was sent and received from a Mr. Katiso Molefe based on the number, not just on the name that is saved as Katiso Molefe on the phone. You actually verified that the number is his number.
Yes, the number suits the number that we had for our intelligence purposes.
Okay, thank you. Can we now proceed?
Can we, I'm very sorry, can we take a 5-minute adjournment for something urgent we want to attend to? Let's adjourn.
Thank you, Commissioners. Witness A, are you there?
Yes, Commissioners, I am here.
Witness A, we were dealing with paragraph 33.1 of your statement. If you can just tell us what it is that you want to tell the Commissioners about the link on the 12th of April 2024 between Mr. Tau and Mr. Molefe.
Yes, Commissioners, this will be a call record that was that shows that on the 12th of April 2024, that is 5 days before the murder, Michael Pulitau received a call from Mr. Katiso Molefe at 11:38, and then the duration of the call was 119 seconds. And then Michael Pulitau made the call to Molefe at 11:43, which was a duration of 14 seconds. And then Michael Pulitau arrives at Molefe's house in 12:16 minutes.
We're just flighting the second one, which is at 12:16 minutes, as you say. And what is it that we see there, where you say it's at 12:16 minutes?
We see the vehicle, which is the Mercedes-Benz Viano, that was later linked to Tau during arrest, arriving at the house of Katiso Molefe.
Okay.
On the 12th of April 2024, 12:16 minutes.
And then if we go to the next one, it's 33.2. You speak about the 13th of April 2024.
Yes, on this one, the 13th of April 2024, Tau then received a message from Molefe with the name and cell phone number of the person who was identified as an employee for the company called Gauteng in Vereeniging.
When you say...
Sorry, Witness A. When you say that, or when you say with the name and cell phone number of someone, what do you mean? Do you mean this message mentioned this cell phone number and person?
I mean, this message was giving the name and the cell phone number of this person who is identified as an employee at QTech. But now, the details of such are not going to be disclosed to the Commission.
Commissioners will see that on page 44 of your bundle, which will have the details under text, would have the actual text, but it's redacted for the public. It's redacted for the public, but on page 44 where it says text and 1259 in the WhatsApp chats, it will have a column that says text, and that will be the text that was actually in the WhatsApp. And what the witness is saying is that the name and cell phone number that's reflected in the block next to text was the text that was actually received from Mr. Tau. Sorry, from Mr. Molefe to Mr. Tau.
Can you have the witness confirm that?
Yes. Though that is what the witness has said. I'm just confirming that you can actually see it on your screen, whereas the public cannot. Then if we can then go to the next one, it's at 33.3.2, 2.2 on page 10.
Yes, Commissioner. On this one, it is seen that Tau tried to get more information about this person that was given to him by Katiso from a person called Lerato.
Do you know who Lerato is?
Yes, Lerato was identified and was interviewed, and the statement was obtained from her to confirm what I've just said at paragraph 33.2.2. that she was indeed requested by Tau to identify the person who works for QTech.
Okay, and then at 33.2.3,
in that one, Tau sends a message to Molefe asking, would you please send me that company's name again? So I will assume that at this particular time he just needed confirmation from Tariso Molefe to send him the information of the company or the name of the company again, which is QTech.
and then at 33.2.4 you deal with the response to that email. Can you deal with that?
The response was that Molefe then did indeed send the name of the company, which is QTech.
And can you just on the screen for the record read the date and time of that message?
It is dating April 2024, 14:39.
Thank you. And then at 33.2.5,
at 33.5, Tau makes a call to Molefe and also receives a call from Molefe at 16:34.
we're on 30.
The highly spotted.
Sorry, witness A, we're at 33.2.5, not 33.5. We're still on the 13th of April. Yes. 33.2.5. Yes.
My apology, Commissioners. 33.2.5. Tau is seen forwarding these photos from the internet of two QTech employees to Molefe with the message, "These must be them."
Okay. And then if we go to the 14th of April at 33.3.
Correct. Maybe before we do that, if you go back to 33.2.1, witness A, in the second last line, which starts, Molefe appears to have believed. You see that?
Yes, I'm on that, Commissioner.
Okay. So that first sentence that reads, Molefe appears to have believed that this person is a whistleblower, in respect of the alleged fraud and corruption related to a Transnet contract. When you say this, where does this appear from? Remember, we're discussing the WhatsApp message, and then you say it appears to have believed that the person was a whistleblower. Where does this appear from? In the WhatsApp message or other material?
I think this talks to the information that we had as we moved on with the investigation. The appear means that he was of the belief that the person that he was sending to die was a whistleblower.
Yes.
Because now we had knowledge as we moved with investigation that actually this person was not a whistleblower.
Yes. And then the second part of that paragraph, you say the contractor alleged to be committing the fraud is a company, and you give the name of the company there, you say SK Group. This is the first time it is mentioned, and I'm not sure whether you discuss further in your statement. You're going to talk more about this group, but it's not in the WhatsApp message unless I've missed it. So I'm trying to understand where this comes from, this information.
You are correct, Commissioner. It is not. This is now from our investigation, and I do agree that we actually needed to have given a little background of this SA group.
Yes.
But as it has been declared before, that more of the information will be a touch and go, because it talks to the investigation that is ongoing on this case and made on the other parallel investigation on this case. Maybe for purposes of this exercise of this commission, I will just mention to the commission that this SK Group was a middleman, if I may just use that name, that was buying from QTech on behalf of Transnet. And then it was learned that this SK Group was inflating prices way higher than what it was receiving the product from QTech for, which then would mean this perceived whistleblower would report the SA Group to Transnet and other bodies to say there is irregularities happening here. Just to give a brief description of what happened to commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi. This evidence will be led by witness B.
And then maybe lastly from me, and this is more for you, Ms. Seagulls, not necessarily to be done now, but where you've referred to the annexures, can you just make sure that the page numbers are also referred to so that they reflect on the record? Because I think we referred to these WhatsApp exchanges without page numbering them.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
We are now at 33.3, Witness A. Can you just read that paragraph for us regarding the 14th of April?
33.3.
Yes.
On 33.3, on the 14th of April at 3:27, I was sent a message to Mulife, which reads, "We are here." And then at the same time, Dawood's phone GPRS connects to a tower 2 kilometers from QTech's offices in Vereeniging.
And that is
at 15:29.
And that is on page 48 and 49 of the annexure bundle. And then if you can go to 33.4.
At 33.4, Tawo received a forwarded ownership check, which is a forwarded message on his phone from Mulife, which is an ownership check of vehicle registration numbers.
And for that, it's page 50, 51, page 50 and 51 of the annexure bundle. So if I can understand what you're saying is that Mr. Tawo is receiving from Mr. Mulife forwarded ownership checks for 3 registration numbers. Were you able to confirm what those vehicle registration numbers relate to? Are they in any way related to anyone at QTech?
No, they were not connected to anyone at QTech.
Okay. Continue at 33.5.
33.5, that is now on the 16th of April, which will be the day before the matter. And then Can I just jump to 33.51?
Yes, you may, and it with reference to page 52 of the annexure bundle.
Yes, Tau makes a call to Mulife, and he also received a call from Mulife at 1634, while Tau was highly spotted on CCTV footage at QTech offices at 1639.
If I can just understand what you're saying is that at the time that Mr. Tau makes a call to Mr. Molefe at 1631 and receives a call from Mr. Molefe at 1634, his vehicle is, his cell phone is spotted to be 2 kilometers within the towers that's close to QTech, within 2 kilometers of a tower that's close to QTech.
Yes, but for the purposes of this paragraph, it is actually his physical motor vehicle on the CCTV footage that was retrieved from QTech.
So it's the footage at 1639 on the 16th of April.
That is correct, Commissioners.
Continue. And we're now on page 11 at 33.5.2.
At 33.5.2 at 21:22, Tao's vehicle arrives at Mulife's house at around 21:36.
And that is on page 53 of the annexures. And you say that the Viano arrives at Mr. Mulefe's house at 21:22 on the evening before the murder.
Yes.
Okay.
And then it left there at 21:36.
Okay. And then if we can go to 33.6 and on the 17th, this is now the day of the murder, and it's the reference for the annexures is 54, page 54.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Commissioners, can I carry on?
Yes, you may.
So, 33.6 on the 17th of April at 8, the white Hyundai that belongs to that was found at Musa's house during arrest.
You may read it, WitnessA.
The whole paragraph.
Yes.
It says on 17 April 2024 at 8:04, the white I-20 arrives at Kekana's house in Q at 8:12. Cell phone activity resumes at 8:17. And then at around that time, I will send a message to Mulife saying, "Morning Akuti, Rishab," which was then translated to say, "Morning, brother, we are okay." This inference I draw the inference that from the timing of the message and the fact that there was no message that preceded it, it was him telling him that they went good in Vereeniging and they are not arrested and they are back. So he was just giving Mulife information that wherever they are okay, for him not to worry.
And if we can just place the timing in context, the murder of Mr. Armand Swart occurred at just after 7 in Vereeniging. And this is now at 8:17, an hour and some minutes later, but they are back in Johannesburg. This is happening in Johannesburg, this conversation, or the WhatsApp is being sent when Mr. Tau is in Johannesburg.
That is correct. Also, what we understood about this was that when they arrived at Musa's house in the morning, they switched their personal phones off and they left, which could then mean that their phones were left at Q. And then they went to Vereeniging and committed the crime and then came back, and that was only when their phone came back on again. And then maybe they were doing this so that they cannot be connected to a crime scene by their personal phones, which is why they were using the two burner phones that I spoke about earlier on. Because with them, there is information that we have that puts both of the forms in the vicinity of Vereeniging during the commission of crime. And there's also information that tells us that they were communicating between themselves, these two banner forms.
And what about the Viano? You've spoken about the I-20, and we know from your earlier evidence that the Viano was at Mr. Kekana's house, was parked at Mr. Kekana's house.
Yes, Commissioners. Can I address paragraph 34 in that regard?
You may.
Before you do that, in 34.4, and what I'm going to ask applies to the other messages. In 34.4, you say on 33.4, I beg your pardon, 33.4, you say on 15 April 2024, Dow received a forwarded ownership check for vehicle's registration number, and that document is at page
50 and 51.
Page?
50 and 51.
Yes, it's at page 50 and 51. Now, in the body of those documents, where do we see that this was from Mr. Molefe or from Mr. Puliano at the top? You say receives a forwarded ownership check at 51 for that vehicle from Katiso Molefe, but what is it in the body that tells us that, or that indeed confirms you that all these exchanges were in the way that you describe it? It was from Molefe to Dau and so on. And I think it's a question that I think should be clarified also. Ms. Sigas, you may want to do it when we come back from lunch, but I think your WhatsApp messages needs to show us that indeed what is in the caption at the top is confirmed by the body of the WhatsApp.
Commissioner Baloyi, do you want the witness to...
We can for now deal with the specific question that I've asked, and then the rest I'll leave to you to decide when you're going to address it. So witness A, 33.4, you're referring, I've been directed to 50 and 51, and you say this is ownership check received from Molefe. How do we see that in the body of these documents? Where do we see that this is from Mr. Molefe being sent to Mr. Dawi, and it may well be a reference to their telephone numbers. I don't know how you identify them.
Witness A, you are muted, so I'm not sure if you're speaking and we can't hear you.
Yes, Commissioner. I was just trying to look at my pages here so that they do not make noise to the microphone.
Did you hear the question? The question is, when you look at page 50, for example, and there's a reference that there was a forwarded message from Mr. Molefe to Mr. Tau, how do we see that is indeed the case from the message, the information on the message itself?
Oh, yes. We get it from the downloads of the phone of Tau, and then when you read it, it will tell you if the message was, it will tell you of the nature of the message. It will show you that the message is from this source, but it came to him as a forwarded message in WhatsApp.
And can you just direct the commissioners to where on that page 50 we will see that? I can see it, but we want you to identify it for us.
Yes, if you look at the same page, at the topic it's written text, and you go down there, it tells you the status of the message. Then it shows that forwarded, which will then mean that the nature of the message, it came from the source, but it was forwarded to them. So it is written there as forwarded.
Okay.
And
should I go ahead?
Yes.
All right. There's witness A, looking at that same shot, there's a number,
yes.
WhatsApp ID number. There's the first WhatsApp ID number, it's an 083 number. And then there's a second one, WhatsApp ID number, it's an 072 number. Are those numbers helpful to explain this forwarding or sending, who sends who?
Yes, the 083 will be the number of Mr. Molefe, and the 072 will be the number of Down.
All right. Yes, and
I'm saying this, Commissioner, as I am also reading, which is why sometimes I just cut.
So say that again, witness A.
I'm saying that I was just making an excuse that I am saying this as I am reading on what is being displayed on the screen. That is why sometimes I cut when I talk.
All right. All right, no, thank you. Then the same numbers appear in page 51, that 083 number and 072 number in both shots in page 51, and you say that is Mr. Molefe and Mr. Tawi's numbers respectively. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Dot.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner. So we had dealt with 33.6, and then you say, can you just tell us about paragraph 34, where you deal with additional surveillance information and cell phone records, which is not before the Commission, but just so to complete the picture at paragraph 34.
Yes, paragraph 34.
Yes.
And that in addition, the surveillance information before and on the day of the murder revealed that Tau Viano was at and near the office park where Swart was murdered, and it appears that whoever was driving the vehicle was scouting the place. And then the cell phone, the cell phone records and the vehicle tracking information and the CCTV camera footage agree to this and are attached for witness B to talk more about.
Yes, I just wanted to clarify paragraph 34, and you must just confirm this for the commissioners, is that the sentence should in fact read that the surveillance information before and after the day of the murder revealed that the Viano was at or near the office park, not on the day of the murder.
Yes, that is correct. That will confirm that this vehicle was used to survey either the crime scene or maybe to survey the victim, who is Mr. Swart, as well.
Thank you, Witness A. And then if you could...
Before you move on, you say the surveillance information before and after the day, and then you refer us to WA1. Can we look at that WA1 and see where does it convey what you say in that paragraph 34?
Yes, Commissioner, I just indicated now that information about the Viano itself is not before the Commission. The WA1 refers to everything that has been dealt with under 33 and 34. But the Viano information, unfortunately, is not before us. To demonstrate that the Viano was there before, was at the scene before the murder. That information is not before the Commission.
Okay, so the WA1 correctly speaks to the 12th of April.
It speaks to the 12th, the 13th, all of the dates, but in relation to the I-20 and the Mercedes-Benz C200, not the Viano.
Thank you.
Maybe this is for the witness and not you then, Ms. Siggles. What do we make of the shots on page 52 of our bundle?
Yes.
With specific reference to the date of 16 April 2024.
Let me just see.
Witness A, are you on page 52?
Yes. Can I just...
I am on page 52, Commissioners.
Yeah. Can I just clarify, Commissioner Kumalo, the correct statement should be that the cell phone records and the vehicle tracking information relates to the tracking information relates to the I-20 and the Mercedes-Benz C200. CCTV footage would include the I-20, the Viano, and the C200. The statement still remains that the Viano is not on the day of the murder.
Are you referring to the last sentence of 34?
Correct, Chair. It's that...
Just restate what you said just now about that sentence.
So there's information that relates to the day of the murder, and that would be in relation to the I-20 and the C200, not the Viano. There is information predating the murder, and that would relate to the I-20 and to the Viano and the Mercedes-Benz. The Viano and the Mercedes-Benz.
Let me rather ask the witness the question. Witness A, Is there CCTV footage of the Viano in Vereeniging on the 17th of April 2024, which is the date of the murder?
No.
Is there CCTV footage of the Hyundai i20 at Vereeniging on the date of the murder, that being 17 April 2024?
Yes, Commissioners.
All right.
Thank you.
In the first sentence of 34, we must delete the words "and on." Let me just, in addition, the surveillance information before the day of the murder. So we delete the "and on."
Correct.
Thank you.
Yes, Commissioners. Thank you for the correction.
And then, Witness A, if we can then deal with that footage insofar as the Viano is concerned before the murder. If you go to page 52 of the bundle.
Yes, Commissioners. This will now be on the 16th of April, 1639, which is the day before Mr. Armand Swart was killed. This Viano that belongs to Tau is picked up driving in front of the QTech company by the CCTV cameras at that time that I've just given, which is 1639.
Now, what was the Viano doing in the area on the 16th, the day before the murder?
My understanding, it will be that they were finalizing their surveillance as the murder was going to be committed the following morning.
And in your experience as an investigator, what is the reason, why would the Viano not be there on the day of the murder? Why would it not be used to transport the hitmen to the murder scene on the day?
I think it will be for the suspect not to be easily linked to the crime scene, because this motor vehicle is linked to Tau. It belongs to Tau, and then it was seen surveilling the crime scene before the murder. So using it again on the crime scene, it was going to make it easy for whoever was going to do investigation to connect this motor vehicle with the crime, and which was also going to make it easy for the investigators to connect the crime to the person who owns the motor vehicle, who is Tau. So I think this was all prevalent.
In that page 52, Witness A, and going back to the paragraph in your statement, you at 33.5.1, you say at 1631, Tau makes a call to Molefe and receives a call from Molefe at 1634, while Tau's vehicle is spotted on CCTV footage at QTech offices at 1639. And then you go to page 32. At the bottom of that picture that you've just spoken to, 52. Yes, at 52, you've got those headings: makes a call to OH3, and then in brackets you say Molefe, and then receives a call. Where in these two documents, 1631 and 1634, do we see that the call is, in the first one, is from Tau to Molefe? Can you just talk us through that grid? But also, if you're able to, where he is in fact at the time of the call, of the two calls.
Oh, yes, Commissioners. We see this first by his vehicle. It is physically put there by the cameras. And then when we look at the column down there, we can see, I don't know how I'm going to...
I think, Witness A, if you can use your hard copy, because what you're seeing on the screen is the redacted version, which won't have the information that Commissioner Balo is asking you to confirm. So if you can use your hard copy for this exercise on page 52.
That is correct. I'm carrying it in my hand as I speak. But I wanted to say, it is seen that when these calls were made, this number, which is 072, which belongs to Tau, is put by a tower location at Duncanville, which is in Vereeniging, where the crime scene is. It will be at the bottom, at the last, at the very last column of the page on the right, where it is written LTE Duncanville.
Thank you.
Then on the far left, where that column starts. It will depict the number of the suspect. You might can pull it down.
Thank you, Witness A.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And then at paragraph 35, without reading out the name of Witness B, can you just read paragraph 35 into the record?
Yes, it reads that Witness B will testify in detail to the links that were discovered after Mlife's arrest, which is now on the 6th of December 2024. The reason I deal with these links is to complete the timeline and deal with the type of information that was available to the team, although not all can be revealed in public. I will deal later with the links related to the murder of Opa, Johnson Fuga, and two other persons that he was with, which will then be known as Walter Mkwena and Sandy Lenyeza.
Thank you, Witness A. If we can then go to page 12 of your statement, and here you now deal with uncomfortable incidents and the first signs of possible interference. And we are now at paragraph 36. If you can just tell the Commission about that incident.
Yes, in this paragraph, I'm going to deal with the first signs of discomfort that we're now confirming what we saw when we went for the first appearance in Vereeniging. Then we could see that it was spread it was not only based in the police station where I was working, but it was spread right across the province, if I may say that, up until the senior officers of SAPS. I'm saying this because in mid-May, I was told by Witness B that she had received a call from our commander, Colonel Mkwena, in our office, who had in fact Major General Shibiri, who is the head of organized crime nationally, actually wanted to see us to brief him about the case of Mr. Swart.
Sorry, Witness A, before you go ahead, can you just tell us who is Colonel Mkwena and what is his or her position? You say direct commander, but what is the position?
He is colonel, he is a colonel, and then he is our immediate commander in terms of the structure of work. It will be Brigadier Hopane, it will be him, and then so it goes down. So we reported to him directly.
And who does he report to?
He reports to Brigadier Hopane.
Okay.
Who then reports to the general.
Continue.
Yes. So this information, I'm getting it as second-hand from Witness B, who is now telling me to say, hey, yesterday I got a call from Colonel Mkwena, who told me or us that we need to go see General Shibir at his office in head office in Pretoria. And then further than that, Witness B says, actually, it seems like when Colonel Mkwena was calling her, he was together with General Shibir at one place. Because as Colonel Mkwena was talking to Witness B, he then gave the phone over to General Shibir to speak to Witness B and relay that message that he had already passed through Colonel Mkwena.
And then in paragraph 37, you deal with Witness B's response to General Shibiri. Can you tell us about that?
Witness B tells me now to say, in that brief call, General Shibiri asked her a certain information in relation of the Mr. Swart murder case, and then Witness B tells me that she told General Shibiri that the case that we're dealing with is of a sensitive nature, so she did not feel comfortable to discuss it over the phone, which is why now the decision to come, like physically, to his office was emphasized.
When you say decision, was she saying to General Shibiri that she will come to him, or was he inviting the team to come and meet him at his offices?
He was inviting. He had already done it through Colonel Mkwena, but now I think he also wanted to get some information before we could come, which then Witness B said no, but General, I don't feel comfortable talking about this case over the phone, given the sensitivity it has. And then we had to go see him the following day.
Okay, and in paragraph 38, you then deal with the meeting. Can you take us through it?
Can I just for completeness, sorry, Witness A, just for completeness, your statement says that she told him, General Shibiri, that she had concerns about providing such a report to him, and it ends there. So on a reading of the statement, it suggests she refused to give him. But from what you're saying, it in fact should have said such a report to him over the phone. That's a complete statement from what you're saying.
That is correct, Commissioner. Maybe it is the way that I gave the statement. She didn't actually refuse, but she suggested that it can be given to him verbally, not over the phone.
Thank you. Thanks, Mr.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloy. At paragraph 38, you deal with the meeting?
Yes, at paragraph 38, it was the day that we were supposed to go and meet with the General at his office. But given the lot of work that we had on this docket, we could not just drive in the morning and go see the General. We had to do the task that was at hand, the investigation on this case. Then much later on the day, then we drove to Pretoria in the company of the member that had gave us the instruction to go attend to the crime scene from Brigadier Khobane on the 17th. So it was 3 of us going to see General Shibiri in his office at Pretoria.
Okay, continue.
Yes, and then when we arrived at the office of the General, we were welcomed in, and then the meeting started. It actually was not even a formal meeting. He just asked a very few questions about the case, and then during that conversation, he told us that this case that we were working on was actually a very sensitive case because the people that are arrested are connected to people that are very dangerous. And then he told us that these people who are the now suspect are connected to a person who had already passed away by then, who was called Mswazi. And then they are very dangerous. And then there is a lot of resistance and interference that we're going to get from the police while we're doing our investigation. And then he also wants us to take care or to look after ourselves. And during the conversation, he also gave us the person that works with the group, but he belongs to a DPCI, which is a Hawk's office, Tom's office, by the name of Zoom. We didn't know that person before we came to this office, but we were told about him to say he works with this group. We might encounter interference from him and other people that maybe we're not told about there.
Witness A, can I just take you back to your statement? You've skipped some information. At paragraph 39, you after the General tells you, you say after he told you about the very dangerous person called Mswazi, can you just continue from there?
Oh yes, then he told us that as the suspect we are applying for bail, he told us that he asked us what was the status and everything, and then we told him obviously that we were opposing bail, and then he said there were envelopes that were on offer. He termed it as there were 3 envelopes flying around that were on offer for the suspects to get bail. He said one envelope will be for the investigating officers, the other one will be for the magistrate, the last one will be for the prosecutor. And then by envelopes, we understood him to mean money, even though he didn't say money. But he said there is 3 envelopes flying around to make sure that these people get paid.
Now, witness A, when you say General Shibiri, when General Mkhwanazi testified, he spoke to a senior person who informed the investigators that there were 3 envelopes. Was he referring to, do you know if he was referring to General Shibiri?
Yes, my understanding is that he was referring to General Shibiri because in this investigation, when you take the mentioning of 3 envelopes, it only appeared in the meeting that we had with General Shibiri. And by the way, we reported it to our commanders as well.
Thank you.
Can I just ask a follow-up question, Witness A? The mention of 3 envelopes, A, was it made in your presence, and B, what was your reaction to it when it was made, the mention of the 3 envelopes?
It was made in my presence. My first reaction, it was just shock. And then it wasn't that I was expecting to be told now, because I was here sitting with the senior officer who was now needed to give me guidance to say what to do with these 3 envelopes, because obviously they were coming our way. I expected the general to say, if this envelope come, do this about them, or this is the action that has already been taken to avert that thing happening, so that the envelopes don't even get to you. But all that did not happen. To what witness B asked a direct question to the general to say, if it happens that the general knows about these envelopes and he knows that they are flying around and one of them is coming to his members, and then he also knows that there are people who are doing wrongdoing in terms of Zulu now, because he's already been disciplined. Now, witness B asked the general directly to say, what is being done by that? And then the general said there should be inquiry opened with the aim to register a project for investigation such wrongdoings. But he didn't say that had already taken place. He was telling us what was supposed to have been done, which would mean if witness B didn't ask, I don't think that was going to be mentioned either.
Thank you, Witness A.
May I, sir? Do you in paragraph 40, and you've already mentioned in your evidence the reference to Zungu, do you know if General Shibiri has done anything or taken steps relating to this Zungu police officer?
No, Commissioners, we did actually not do a follow-up on that. We don't know if anything was done to Zungu, neither did we ever identify who this Zungu person is.
Thank you. Thanks, Mr.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi. Witness A, just to go back to the reference to 3 envelopes by General Shibiri, was it your understanding that he was saying that he knew that there were 3 envelopes available if you were willing to accept it, or was he saying that he had the envelopes for you?
No, what I understood is that he was saying he knew that there is envelopes that were ready, which one of them was meant for the investigating officers. But I don't know if he had them with him, and I didn't understand it to say he was having them, or he was having one envelope with him. I didn't understand it that way.
Okay. In paragraph 40, you dealt with Zungu, but your statement starts with another person. Can you read that and then just explain whether General Shibiri expanded on that issue?
He did not expand it. He just told us that he knows a lawyer that was standing for Mr. Tau. Then he mentioned by name that is Mr. Victor Marshall, who has since been struck off the roll.
Now,
And then he didn't give any references to why he's mentioning him or what was the reason he mentions him. But he just told us that he knows the lawyer that was standing for Tau, which was true because we had already been in court a few times with Tau, and then we knew whose the lawyer was.
okay, and then in paragraph 41, you've already dealt with what Witness B's attitude was towards General Shibiri mentioning wrongdoings by officers where there seem to have been no consequences. But you deal with another issue that she had raised. Can you deal with that in paragraph 40, the second part of that paragraph?
That will be now the issue of Zoom or paragraph 41, Commissioner, if I may ask.
Paragraph 41, where Witness B had made a request to General Shibiri after she had asked about what steps had been taken against officers that have been accused of wrongdoing.
Oh, yes. It means when we spoke, then after having asked, Witness B having asked General Shibiri what he will do about what he has just told us, we went on with talking with General Shibiri, and then he advised us that we get protection in terms of assistance, actually, in terms of seeing if the cars that we're using were not followed or fitted with unauthorized trackers, and also to have them checked for that I've just said. And then witness B asked General Shibiri if it would be possible to request that the ballistics section speed up the ballistics analysis of the firearms, to which General Shibiri agreed. And then he took the phone and then he made a call to a person that he referred to as Brigadier Mlawuzi at the ballistics Pretoria and requested that the ballistics be fast-tracked.
Can I just follow up on that? Was there an issue with the ballistics at that stage? Why would there be a request for it to be expedited?
At this time, there was no delay, but we just knew that usually your ballistics will be what delays the investigation in our experience. You will do all your investigation, then you complete it, then it will be the ballistics that is holding back the investigation. So we just was requesting for an assistance from that front.
And you have dealt with it, but if I could just ask you to then read paragraph 43 and 44 into the record.
Before you do that, let me take you back to paragraph 40. Did your investigations ever reveal that Zungu was working with the suspects?
No, it did not reveal it because we actually did not conduct that investigation, because it would need a complete parallel investigation. And at that given time, we had a lot on our hands. We actually were focused with dealing with the case of murder and linking the other suspect who that we had already identified as the hit organizer, which is Kadiso Mlifi. So we didn't really undertake to do that investigation, Commissioners.
And did General Shibiri ever mention this subject to you again?
Of Officer Zungu in particular?
Zungu.
No, he didn't.
Witness A, let me also take you back. Paragraph 39, where you mentioned that General Shibiri said that people linked to the arrested suspects have money and are connected to a very dangerous person called Mswazi. And you say in brackets that you are aware that Mswazi died in January 2024. Perhaps tell us more about Mswazi so that we don't make assumptions. We don't accept on the face of it that he was a very dangerous person. Who is Mswazi and how does he fit in or would even come up in this conversation between you and General Shibiri?
At this time, Mswazi was a person that was widely known as a taxi owner, and he was a ruthless someone in terms of killings. We know him to that extent. And then we would later learn that the people that we're dealing with were directly connected to him or to the group that was going to be later referred to as the cartel or the Big Five. So I'm thinking now that the general was just giving us the heads up to say you are dealing with something very massive, even though we didn't understand at the time. We just thought, oh, this is Mswazi that is known for doing this, so we must take care. Only to learn later that these people were directly connected to Mswati through Kadiso Mlifi. Then now it made sense what the general was saying to us at the time.
You understood him to include Warrant Officer Tau as people connected to this Mswazi that you describe?
Yes, but Warrant Officer Tau will be connected through Kadiso, not directly to Mswati.
Thank you. Thank you.
As I understood it, Commissioners.
I see that it's 1 o'clock. Let's adjourn and resume at 2 p.m.
Yes, Commissioners, I'm back.
Thank you. We were dealing with the meeting that you had with General Shibiri and other members of your team. I just want to take you back to paragraph 42 of your statement, where you dealt with General Shibiri's recommendation that a threat and risk assessment be conducted for your personal safety. Can you just tell us what would be the purpose of such an assessment?
Yes, Commissioners. This assessment was suggested as needed by General Shibiri after he had already told us about the severity of the investigation that we were investigating and the people that we were dealing with. And then he suggested that there will be the need for a threat risk assessment done starting from then going forward.
Yes, but my question is, what is the purpose of a threat and risk assessment? Why is it done?
The purpose will be to assess the scale of threat that the members are faced with, and then maybe from there will be the recommendations that will be made by the personnel that will be conducting such a threat assessment. Then actions will be taken from there, and then it will be usually it will be the recommendation that will say the members should be or must be provided with a certain level of security or protection.
And we're now in mid-May of 2024. Do you know whether a threat and risk assessment was done in respect of you and the other investigating team?
Yes, I remember that it was done through our office, and then we did sign a document, and then we waited for the results of the response thereof.
And did you ever receive the results of the TRA?
No, on this one we did not receive the feedback of the outcome of the TRA. We kept waiting without receiving any feedback.
And at that stage, who was responsible for preparing the TRA?
The TRA was prepared by our office. Colonel Mukwena was assisting with the TRA at the time.
Colonel Mukwena?
That's correct.
Which is your direct commander?
Yes, that is the direct commander, which will be termed as an immediate commander.
And did you inquire from Colonel Mukwena whether there had been an outcome, or did you just leave it at they will tell us when they need to report to us about it?
Yes, we were inquiring from time to time, and then I think he was waiting as we were waiting for a response to come back, and we moved on with our investigations.
Okay, so if I can then just go back to the meeting on page 14 of your statement at paragraph 43. I know that you had dealt to some extent with how you felt in the meeting and after you left the meeting, but could I just ask you to read paragraph 43 into the record, please?
Thank you, Commissioners. Paragraph 4.3 will read as follows.
It's 43 on page 14. Yeah, 43, sorry.
Yes, it is page 14, 4.3.
It's
We
43.
left that meeting feeling very concerned, not only because General Shipiri confirmed our fears that very powerful people were involved in the murder, but also because he had implied that he knew as a fact that there was a bribe ready for us if we were willing. Essentially, our most senior official had just informed us about a bribe in exchange for compromising the investigation in order to secure the accused person's release. It did not constitute direct enticement, but rather an either-or kind of situation. In other words, there may be something for you, but it is up to you whether to take or not. That is the sense I got, which maybe will be translated that the sense that I made personally about the whole meeting with the general and what was discussed about the case, us being told about the dangerous people that we are dealing with, and then the envelope that was on offer, which I translated as being the money. And then I just got the sense that I didn't know what to make of it.
Thank you, WitnessA. And then paragraph 44 as well, you did deal with some of it, but if you could also read that into the record.
Paragraph 44 will read as follows. I would not expect our senior to even have this conversation with us, but if he was going to, it would be to advise us not to take any bribes that we may be offered in exchange of compromising the investigation. He did not do so. In my view, even though he did not expressly say so, I left that meeting feeling that General Shipiri was firstly trying to find out what evidence we had that linked the suspects to the murder and how strong our case was at the time. And secondly, to bait us to see if we could be influenced, hence the reference to the envelopes being available. It seems to me that if we were not agreeable to take the envelopes, which was indeed the case, then technically he did not offer us a bribe, but he was merely informing us that there was a bribe up for grabs.
Thank you. And then paragraph 45 as well, please, witness A.
Paragraph 45 will read as follows, but this left me with many questions. I was not sure if General Shibiri was associated with the dangerous people linked to the accused, as he put it. How did he know that those people are dangerous and have money, and that there are envelopes available? I had all these questions racing through my head, through my mind, but still wanted to give General Shibiri the benefit of the doubt. And I think actually that is what I did at that stage.
Thank you. And then at paragraph 46, you have now dealt with the TRA. And can I just find out from you, what was your sense of the safety, your personal safety at that stage?
The sense of the personal safety at this stage now, I could understand that we were faced with a risky situation in terms of the dangers that were imposed on us because of this investigation. And then I had a sense of understanding that we are really faced with the situation.
Thank you. Can we now go on to another topic, the next topic, which you say is the White House on the Hill? And can you just tell us how it came about that you ended up at the White House on the Hill?
Maybe before that,
White House.
Witness A, maybe before you tell us how you end up there, tell us what is White House on the Hill.
The White House on the Hill is a place that we invited to after this meeting that we had with the General Shibiri. It is a place that we invited to.
Maybe if you can just tell us about how the invitation came about.
Yes, Commissioners. On the 24th of May 2024, I think it was just a week after having met General Shibiri, a colleague of mine, that is the one that informed us that we have been tasked to go attend the scene on the 17th, told me that he got a call from the owner of that White House that I'm talking about to say, do we mind to join them as they will be having a party at the weekend. And this is the person that we knew already early around the early months of 2022.
And just to complete that, what type of party was it that you were invited to?
He just said, do we mind to come to this place just to chill?
Okay,
and have some free time together.
And who is it that invited you?
Invited through the member that I was working with when we started in this investigation.
Okay, but who did he say the invitation was coming from?
That will be now the name of name of a person.
Yes.
That is Vusindlala.
Sorry, just repeat the name.
Vusi is the name, the surname.
And how do you know?
When you say and then he invites you, you are now relating.
And then on that weekend, then we proceeded to the place as it was given to us by him, to the party. And then when we arrived at the place, then he invited us in, or he welcomed us in. And then to our surprise, as we entered that place, General Shibiri was also in attendance.
Can I just pause there, Witness A? You say you arrived at the place, and what were you expecting to find at this place? Was it a house, a venue? What were you expecting?
We were expecting to find a house, but when we arrived there, it was not a house. It was something that could be referred to as a boutique hotel.
Okay, we're going to flight a picture of the venue, and for the benefit of the commissioners, that is on page 55, WA2 of the bundle. I just want you to confirm that this is the place where you went.
Correct, commissioners, this is the place.
So it is 12 on Hilo, HILLEL, Villa and Spa.
Yes, I see the address now, Commissioner.
And you said this is in Northcliffe?
Correct, Commissioners.
Okay, so you were telling us about when you arrived. To your surprise, you can continue from there?
Yes, as we arrived there, we were welcomed by Vusindlala, and then he directed us to the lounge space. And then as we entered there, then we found that amongst the people that were seated there was General Shibiri, which we didn't even expect or didn't know that he would be in attendance.
And how was his demeanor?
He was relaxed, and then he welcomed us in, and then he told us to feel at home, just to break ice. But before then, he seemed very surprised because he even said to Whistleblower in Zulu, why ungashongo ukuthi uzovula police station la kwakho, which can be translated like, why didn't you tell me that you are opening a police station here at your place? And then we all laughed about it.
Okay, in your statement you refer to, if you can just, in paragraph 49, you mentioned that you went to the party, and then the second sentence, which starts on page 16, if you can just, because you haven't dealt with that aspect, if you can deal with the sentence that starts, what was even more surprising is that General Shibiri was also at the party, and then just from there onwards, can you read that into the record, please?
Can I read starting from where it say at first we did not know that
Yes.
we were police officers until Ndala told us that these people are police officers, but he didn't mention their names. And then I went on to say I was not aware that Ndala knew so many police officers that he can invite to his place. What was even more surprising is that General Shibiri was also at the party, sitting on the couch, and he appeared to be very comfortable. In fact, the music that was playing was being played from his phone that was connected to a speaker. At first, I did not know what to do, but then General Shibiri brought the ice and started talking. He said to Ndala, why ungashongo ukuthi uvula a police station la kwakho? Which can roughly be translated as, why didn't you not say that you are opening a police station here at your house? And then we all laughed about it.
Thank you, Witness A. And then at paragraph 50, can you explain to us what transpired after that?
Yes, at paragraph 50, we then, I was personally now looking at the situation, like trying to understand what was going on, reading the people that were inside, and then I could see that I was not comfortable at first with the fact that I was attending a party with a general, for the fact that I didn't even know that he was going to be there. So it felt tense at first.
Okay.
I then went out and took a phone and wrote a message to Witness B, not actually reporting, just telling Witness B to say, actually it was a question I asked, guess who else is in attendance at the party? To which they said, I don't know. Then I said, we are with General Shibiri.
May I take you to the first sentence of this paragraph, paragraph 50? And before that, perhaps I must take a step or two back. When you summarize your assessment of the meeting with General Shibiri, you sort of alluded to feelings of dismay, surprise as to what had transpired there, including what General Shibiri had said. But at that stage, you did not use a word as strong as inappropriate. Now, in the first sentence of paragraph 50, you say, I was uncomfortable being at a party with General Shibiri because he was the national head of my division, but also because of the inappropriate meeting we had just over a week prior. Why do you call the meeting inappropriate?
That will now refer to the first meeting or this meeting, Commissioner, if I may ask for clarity.
The Chair is referring to the meeting on the 16th of May with General Shibiri. Why are you referring in paragraph 50 to that meeting being an inappropriate meeting?
I'm referring it to be inappropriate now because when we reported it to our commanders, we were told that it was not supposed to have taken place without our immediate commanders knowing, which is now General Khopane, to the extent that we were even advised not to ever go there again unless we tell her and she gives the go-ahead. Now, that is why now I'm referring to it as being inappropriate.
Thank you, Chair. You may continue, Witness A, with paragraph 50. So you told Witness B, you sent her a message and it said to her that you're with General Shibiri. And what was her reaction to that?
I think she didn't make anything out of it. Because she was said, oh, okay, is that the case? Then I said, yes. Then that was it at that given moment.
Can I then ask you, still at paragraph 50, what is it that you had expected from General Shibiri at that party? Because we are talking about a social setting now. But in your statement, you mentioned that you had a certain expectation.
Yes, this was a social setup. Then when I got there, not knowing that he would be there, I was then making my own conclusions at the back of my head to say, I think this is a continuation of the meeting that we had prior in the month or in the weeks. And then now I was expecting to take over where we left off, which didn't happen. I strongly waited to him to engage us on the case, and then it did not happen at all.
Okay, so you're saying that even though it was in a social setting, you still expected him to give you some report back on the case or to discuss the case with you?
I expected as such.
Okay, and then if we can go to paragraph 51 of your statement.
Before you do that, let me ask, was this the first time, Witness A, that you were in a out-of-work social engagement with General Shibiri?
Yes, Commissioner, that was the first time.
And was this the first time you attended a party invited by Mr. Ndlala?
Yes, Your Worship, that's correct.
So you had never socialized with him before, outside of work?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloy. Insofar as that, you say that at some point you had a discussion with Witness B in paragraph 51. Can you tell us about what it is that you were discussing?
That will be now the discussion as we were at the party.
No, in paragraph 51 on page 16 of your statement, you say that you had a discussion with Witness B.
Yes.
Do you want to elaborate on that, or maybe it would help you to read that paragraph 51?
Yes, I think that the discussion that I had with Witness B was that I wondered if this social party had anything to do with the events of April and May, which means now the case that happened in April and the meeting of the general in May, or it was just a party that it was a coincidence that we're meeting with the general there.
Okay, continue.
And then maybe I can just read this
Yes.
to the record. That the only conclusion that I could come to is that General Shibiri asked Ndlala to invite us. I now think that it might have been part of the plan to test whether this colleague of mine that I was with or I were perhaps open to the undue influence, especially since Witness 1,
Witness B,
posed the questions to the general when we were at his office to ask what is he doing about the wrongdoings of the police, which could have then been to say it is not easy to bring her in. Those were the thoughts that were ringing in my head every time.
Thank you. And then in paragraph 52, you speak about yet another invitation. Can you elaborate on that?
Paragraph 52 was a week that followed the one that we were invited in a party. The same happened now. The invite came through the same colleague of mine from the same Mr. Ndlala to attend the party again. And then unfortunately I was not around Gauteng, I could not attend. And then my colleague agreed to attend to a party. And then I asked him to tell me what is happening at a party, what is he saying, and all that. And then indeed he did attend to a party, which I think it was on the 30th of May, 2024.
In your statement, you say it was the 31st of May, 2024. The invite was on the 30th of May, which would have been the Thursday.
That is correct, Commissioners.
Okay. And continue with what you say in that paragraph about your discussion with the colleague.
Now the colleague called me at around 21:30 that evening and told me that and asked me to guess who else is in attendance. Then I said, I don't know because I'm not there. And then he counted to me the people that were in attendance. And then to my surprise, General Shibiri has been now joined by two senior officers at the very same party, which was Gauteng Provisional Commissioner, Lieutenant General Ntombeni, and Brigadier Nkwashu, who is the Deputy Commissioner at the Tibeni District section in the Val.
Okay, and at paragraph 53, if you could, for the record, just read that paragraph into the record.
Yes, then it will go as follows. I suspected that the second invitation was yet another attempt to see if this colleague of mine and I could be influenced. If I had been in Joburg, I likely would have gone to the party with this colleague of mine. At this stage, as a typical investigator, I wanted to know if my gut feeling was right, that we were being quoted to be part of the pool of those people who could be controlled and influenced for the benefit of the criminals. In fact, when the TRA was performed or was conducted in respect of our personal safety, I mentioned the invite of the 25 to the house party, and this information formed part of the factors taken into account to assess the possible threats and risks. I am not all at liberty to discuss the findings of the TRA in this forum for safety reasons.
Witness A, from paragraphs 52, 53, regarding the second party and even the paragraphs in relation to the first party. The subject of the envelopes was never broached. Is your suspicion then not at variance with this reality, that is the reality that this subject was never broached?
Yes, Commissioner, if I understand the question correctly. In the first meeting where I was present, the issue of the envelope was not spoken about. Even the case, it was not touched at all. And then on the second one, I also believe it was not spoken about, even though I will not be 100% sure of it because I was not in attendance. But I did ask my colleague as to whether was there any discussion about the case or anything to do with the investigation. Then he told me no, there was none whatsoever.
Witness A,
The point, Witness A, isn't there a disconnect then between your belief and suspicion and the fact that the subject of the envelopes was never broached, at least for a fact at the meeting, or rather the party that you attended, and also based on what your colleagues told you with regard to the second party? Do you understand the question now?
Yes, I do understand the question now, Commissioner. And I don't think there will be a disconnect between what happened and what I was believing too. Because when you see the laying of the ground, you could see that there was maybe a need to see if maybe we could be approached. As to why it was not done, I wouldn't know, because it appeared later in the investigation that actually one of the senior officers that was there did really make other means to get through to the investigating team.
I don't get that. Please repeat the last bit. I don't follow you.
I'm saying the belief, and then the fact that the case was not discussed, and then the belief that I believe that we're being brought to these two parties so that we can be maybe brought into the team of the people that will work with suspects. I'm still saying that. Then I'm saying this because one of the senior officers that was at the party that I didn't attend did eventually make means to get through to the team at a later stage, and then that will be dealt with by Witness B.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Sorry, Witness A. Just following up from the chairperson's question, I understand that you did not attend the second party, but the first one you did attend.
That's correct, Commissioner.
Yes. Now, did any of the people that you suspected to be involved in the Swart murder also attend that party?
They did not, Commissioner.
Yes. And did anyone at that party? Let's forget about General Shibiri for the moment. Did any of the people present at that party discuss with you anything related to your work, specifically the investigation into the Swart murder?
No one discussed anything that had to do with my work and the investigation into the murder of Mr. Swart.
Yes. So this gut feeling that you're referring to in paragraph 53 of your statement, where did it come from?
The gut feeling comes from the fact that one of the senior officers that attended the party, as I mentioned prior, did actually eventually make the means to get it through to the investigating team.
So then that gut feeling could not have been formed on the day of the party. It must have been formed sometime later.
For the fact of the matter, it actually was. It was formed today, and I always had a gut feeling to say, this cannot be a coincidence. This could not be happening. It's just that now no one took it a step further to say, hey, come, let's discuss the case. But the gut feeling always have been there.
Commissioner Khumalo, thank you for that exchange. There are aspects of the witness's evidence that he cannot disclose that adds to why he had that gut feeling for matters that relate to safety issues, and that is why he's a bit hesitant to say go beyond just being a gut feeling. Witness A, can we then deal at paragraph 17? You have a new topic.
So before you go to paragraph 54, you mean? New topic. Okay, before you do that, Witness A, you, in paragraph 47, where you speak about how you met Mr. Ndlala, and you say it was in 2022, and the next time, at least according to this paragraph, you engage with him is in May 2024. In the period 2022 to 2024, what interaction, if any, did you have with Mr. Ndlala? And I ask the question because we are here, among other things, or primarily because of allegations about members of the SAPS associating and having relationships with people who are not SAPS. I consider my question in that context. You have a member of the public, I assume Mr. Ndlala is, or Ndala rather, and he comes with a complainant in 2022, and in 2024 you're attending his party. What is the nature of the relationship? When did it evolve to a point where you accept invitations to a party from him?
Actually, what happened between the period 2022 and now, there was communication just on the phone. We will talk from time to time with him, but we have never been to the party together or socialized together at his place. So it was a person that we will talk from time to time, the person that I now know.
And when you talk from time to time, is it about work or is it social relationships?
It will be a bit of both, because maybe some of the information, as the evidence leader said, that it will be a little bit sensitive. We introduced ourselves as an informer to one of the generals.
Okay.
So we will be talking about police work here and then social life there.
All right. And then in 49, you say you were surprised to see other police officers from other police units or stations in attendance. Why were you surprised? You're at a party in what you describe as a boutique hotel. Why were you surprised?
I was surprised because I will take it that if that was the case, he was supposed to tell me that, or tell us that I will also have other people in attendance.
Yes.
Then we would make our mind just to attend or not. Just for the matter of fact, if we knew that the generals would be there, in the first instance, I don't think that I would have.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
In that case, if you had found General Shibiri at the party the first time around, you do not say the second time around you did not attend because you thought General Shibiri would be there. You did not attend for whatever reason. Can you explain that?
That is correct, Chairperson. That will be a little confusing because
sorry, Witness A. Absent an explanation, it gives me, or rather, this gives me the impression that, but for your other commitment, you would have been there, and I would have thought that you would have expected that General Shibiri just might be there at the second party. Now, if you say had you known the first time around that General Shibiri would be there, you would not have attended. Can you explain now your acceptance that but for your other commitment, you would have attended?
I think now it changes the scenario because now we've got the situation where in the first instance we met with the general, he was there, even though I wouldn't have attended if I knew that he was going to be there. But now I was eager to know what would follow, if there will be a follow-up invitation, because if, for instance, there is an invite, then I do not go there, then I might not know what actually these invites are for. So that, I believe, it will give me the chance to actually understand or even learn as to what exactly these invites are for. To the extent that I did a report that to my superior, then I did tell them that I will go to a next follow-up meeting, reported about the first invite. I got the instruction that I must stop communicating with this person who was inviting us to those parties. But then I asked for the permission to say, if I cut that communication, then the risk that I think I will be running, I would not know what is happening behind the scenes about the criminals or the cartels, which then will be revealed to this commission that keeping an open communication to this guy, to this Mr. Ndla, helped me to understand the connection of Mr. Katiso to the cartel. If it was not that, I don't think it was going to be easy for me to understand much earlier in our.
Thank you, Witness A. And you said earlier on that you did report your attendance at the first party as part of the TRA background. Why was it important to do that? Chair, I think we've lost the... Witness A, are you there? He's not muted. Yeah, he's just left. We'll try and get him.
Should we adjourn and...
I think so, Chair.
And hear from you. Let us adjourn.
No, it was just a network connection.
Is it sorted now?
It is sorted.
Okay, thank you. My question was related to why you felt it important to report your attendance at the first party on the 25th of May as part of the TRA background facts.
I felt to me it was important to report it because when I sat and thought back and discussed it with the investigating team, we understood it to be something else. It didn't actually come as a pure social gathering. If it was a social gathering, then it would have come at the wrong time because now we were having this case that was linking to these dangerous people. Then that information was sourced or it was given to us by the same general that is now at this social gathering, which then also added that this person who is inviting us there, turned out to have knowledge about Katiso and the Qatars. Even though I did not mean to discuss it to that extent, because I think for me it's a little sensitive. There is actually more to it.
Thank you, WitnessA. Then if we can go on to your next topic, which is the ballistics investigation, and you say possible tampering. That is page 17, paragraph 54. Can you tell us what it is that you are referring to in this paragraph?
Yes, Commissioners. This one, I think it will be dealt in detail by Witness B. Yeah, but then just to give a little background on it, we had, as we first requested that General Shibiri assist us to fast-track the finalization of the report. And then we did eventually get the report that was given to us. But when we went through the report, we found that there was some omissions, or there was something missing that was very crucial in order to linking the two scenes, which would be the scene that happened in Bramley and the scene that happened in Vereeniging.
And why do you call that, as you titled it, possible tampering? Why would it be tampering that there's something missing in the ballistics report that you had received?
When we read the report, it will be remembered that there was the 15 cartridges that I spoken about when we started that were found in the Viano. And then it was our hope that these cartridges were either going to connect or link the suspect or the firearms to the Vereeniging murder. But then when we read our report, we find that the ballistics analyst that was doing the analysis did acknowledge receiving the 15 cartridges when the exhibit were brought to him. But when he was compiling his report, he didn't speak to the ballistic as to whether they link or not. So that was the omission that I'm talking to.
So why don't you categorize that omission as just an error? Why do you say that it's possible tampering?
Yes, it could have been an error, but now it depends as to how you categorized it at the time. I thought it could be an error, an omission from your side, or it could be like to say, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to mention this to that report, which will then be an omission. So it just depended to the person who's reading it to say, but I'm taking this to be this, and I'm taking this to mean this.
Was your concern that it mentioned the cartridges, so he was aware that the cartridges, but it didn't link the cartridges? There's nowhere in the report where there's a linkage made to those cartridges and the scene, the murder scene.
Yes, it did. He actually did receive the cartridges brought to him to do the analysis on, like to do testing. Then it would be expected for him to give a report to that. Then the report will be either negative or positive. There was no such. So that could mean that it was an omission or maybe just an error from his side.
Sorry, Witness A, I know the next witness will deal with this in more detail, but do you believe that there was possible tampering? What is your personal view? Do you believe that it was an innocent omission, or do you believe that there's a possibility of tampering?
I believe there was tampering when you take everything that happened with this case going forward, and then you understand and you listen to information that you get. I believe that this was a tampering that was aimed at not linking the suspect to this case.
And your opinion is not influenced by Witness B. It is your personal opinion.
It is my personal opinion, but it is influenced by the investigations that was carried out after this omission was depicted.
Thank you, Commissioner Kumalo. Witness A, you didn't give the name of the ballistics officer. Who is it?
Ballistic officer was Officer Makotle at the time. He has since been promoted to a rank of a captain.
You say he's since been promoted to?
A rank of a captain.
Of a captain.
Yes.
Do you want to spell his surname for purposes of the record, because there's later on other names that are similar to this? If you can just spell it for the record.
Yes, Makotle will be MAKGOLTLEO.
You mixed up some of the letters. Please start again, Witness A.
It is MAKGOTLEO, as far as I understand it, Chairperson.
So it's not OE, because it appears as OE and you repeatedly say EO.
It is OE. My apology, Chairperson.
Thank you.
Thank you, Witness A. So you say that you went to collect the ballistics report from the warrant officer. Now, did you have any discussions with him at that point about the report that he had prepared?
Yes, so when we arrived there at his office, but before just we arrived there, Witness B got a phone call to say the report is ready. She can go collect. And then we proceeded to ballistic office in Silverton, Pretoria. And then we met Warrant Officer Makhoto. And then he told us that the report that had been prepared is actually wrong. It needs to redone. Not actually re-examination, but the writing of the report as we understood it. It was not written properly. Then he said the report that he was having, it was wrong. He cannot give it to us. He had to rewrite the report as we waited.
Continue.
And then he took us to his office where there was another warrant officer that I forgot his name, but he did introduce himself to us. And then they told us to wait as they were preparing the correct version of the report. And then we sat there about maybe 1 hour, 30 minutes, waiting for the final version of the report to be typed and given to us. But in the meantime, he didn't actually tell us what was wrong with the report that needed to be rectified, or maybe show us the wrong version, is to say, this is the wrong version, I'm either going to destroy it, but this is what was wrong. But we just trusted him as an aspect to say, he saw whatever it is that he says it is wrong, now he needs to correct it and give us the right version. And then at that time we were just happy. But while we were sitting there, we now discussed the case, where he told us that we need to be very careful on this case, because now the firearms that are involved in this case are also involved in a lot of shootings around Gauteng and even KZN, where they are also involved in the heist.
Yes, continue.
And then he said, even communicating openly to other people about this case is very dangerous, because it seems like the people that are involved in this case are very dangerous, looking at the involvement of this case, of these firearms to other cases. And then our expectation at face value was that the report that he was compiling at that time was going to show us what he was speaking about, which was not the case.
When you say what you were speaking about, what are you referring to?
To say these firearms are linked in many cases.
So you were expecting the report that you were waiting for an hour and a half from him to fix the error would set out in that report the linkages that he was telling you about while you were waiting for the report?
That is correct.
And did the report have those linkages in there?
It did not have the reports in there. Even worse, it did not have these 15 cartridges that we have recovered when we arrested the suspect at Brandley.
Thank you, Witness A. And we note that you say that Witness B will deal with this in more detail. If we can then go to page 19 of your statement, you refer to follow-ups that were made by Witness B and the ballistics expert. And then you say that there was something that occurred in September 2024. Can you tell us about that event in paragraph 59 and 60?
That will be now in relation to the ballistic investigation.
Correct, paragraph 59 and 60.
Yes. In paragraph 69, it says, I know that Witness B had made follow-ups with Warrant Officer Makhoto regarding the ballistics report and was not making such much of a progress. Then sometimes in September 2024, we decided to take the firearms to another lab, which is also a SAPS lab in KZN, for them to be re-examined, or maybe just to see if they could get any linkages.
And the linkages, sorry, Witness A, the linkages that you are referring to is what, the 15 cartridges or the cases that he had told you about, the other cases that he had told you about?
It is the other cases that we are told about.
Okay.
Because at this point, we were not even aware that these 15 cartridges are not mentioned in his report.
Okay, so you didn't expect or have any knowledge of the ballistics insofar as the 15 cartridges were concerned. It wasn't something you were looking out for. It was you were looking for the linkages that he had told you about while he was preparing the report.
Yes, we're looking for the linkages in as far as we were told when he was doing the report. And maybe I just need to also mention that as we were advancing with our investigation, we already knew that these suspects were involved in a lot of shooting. Some of the dockets were already with us. Then we were expecting to say, if these firearms were found in Vereeniging, and maybe, for instance, we know that this person is also involved in shooting and killing a person there, on a docket that I am also carrying here. And then I was thinking, why am I not getting a linkage? Or we were expecting to get such linkages, but we did not. And then that was a little bit of frustration on our side, which is why we decided to take it for second analysis in case of it.
Okay.
WitnessA, just so that we don't lose each other, please go to paragraph 55 of your statement.
Yes, Commissioner.
The firearms you refer to in line 4 of your statement, where you say you accompanied your colleagues to the forensic laboratory in Silverton to collect firearms. Are these the firearms that were collected or taken or confiscated when the arrests were made after the Swart murder? Are those the firearms?
That is correct, Commissioner.
So they were in Silverton, and when you left Silverton, did you leave with those firearms, you and your team?
Yes, Commissioner, we left with them, and then we booked them at the police station where the docket was open, which is brand new.
And then now, if you go to page 19, paragraph 59 of your statement, you say sometime in September 2024, we decided to take the firearms to another lab in KZN to see whether there were any linkages. Are you referring to the same firearms?
I'm referring to the same firearms. Yes.
And then what happened to the 15 cartridges?
The 15 cartridges were left at the lab in Pretoria, because ordinarily you will get the firearms and then the cartridges, which is now the 15 cartridges, will be left with the lab then to dispose of. So we didn't take them, we just took the firearms.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Okay, so we're now at paragraph 60. You're talking about the second opinion. You took the firearms to another lab. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, we then took the firearms to the second lab in KZN for them to be re-examined. And then when we got there, we were asked as to what the issue was. And then we had to explain to say, this is the information that we got when we got to the lab the first time in Pretoria. But now we trying to read the ballistic report. We cannot see what was said by Warrant Officer Makhoto. Then we're struggling because now we understand as people are involved in other cases, and a lot of other cases that we're investigating, but we don't see it here. Please be assisted.
You may continue with who was it that was assisting you at that lab in KZN?
We were assisted by Warrant Officer Kada.
And what did he tell you?
Sorry, I didn't hear that, Commissioner.
I interrupted you, so you were saying Warrant Officer Kada?
Yes, he's a ballistic expert. He was the one who was going to assist us with this ballistics that we're asking about, that we are requesting to be assisted on.
Okay, you mentioned that you voiced your frustrations to him and then you also needed assistance from someone else. Can you just elaborate on that?
Yes, we informed him what has happened, and then we gave him a little bit of the case. And then we also gave him the report that we got from Pretoria, because we were carrying it with us, to say, can he read through it and interpret it to us, because it's quite a technical report. You need someone who understands it well to read it back to you and tell you what it actually says. And then at a first glance, he said, but there is 15 cartridges that was taken to ballistic, and then there's nothing mentioned about them in the results, because now the expert will receive the exhibit, then will do the examination, then will give the results thereof, which will then be negative or positive. And then it was actually him who alerted us that there is no mention of 15 cartridges in the results, but they are being mentioned as coming in to the lab.
And then just for the sake of completeness, you mentioned the Major General Mbuso Kumaro. What was his role in this process?
His role was to facilitate that we get assistance in KZN, because now, ordinarily, when you are here in Gauteng, you take your ballistics to the nearest lab, which is in Pretoria. Now, we're struggling to get help there. Now, we said, can we maybe try and take it to KZN and see if maybe they will assist us before we get to trial, so that we can understand exactly what is happening here. Is it really that these firearms are also concerned in this case, or maybe they're also concerned in a lot of other cases, of which some, the cases that we were investigating. And then he really did so. He connected us with the ballistics in KZN for us to assist us.
Thank you, WitnessA. Can we now go on to the next topic, which is on page 20 of your statement, starting at paragraph 61. You've titled it Tao's Bail and the IO's Request for Assistance.
Yes. On this one, it mainly deals about Tau that was now applying for his bail at Vereeniging on the murder case, because initially they did apply for bail, all three of them. The bail was denied, and then they were not granted bail. And then Tau made a bail on new facts, citing that he has got a condition. Then this condition warrants him to be released out of prison so that he can get better medical services outside.
Well, what condition is it he relied upon?
He told the court that he was diabetic, and then he told that his condition would need him to be at a facility outside of the hospital, and then he was granted bail based on that.
Okay, so can we just go a step back before he's granted bail? You speak about the 1st of August, 2024. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, the 1st of August 2024, it was the eve of the day when I was granted bail. And then I got a phone call from Whistleblower again. And then he told me what was going to happen about bail. He actually expressly told me that I was going to be granted bail. Then he told me, that cannot happen because we've got a strong case against him, and he has already failed his first attempt. Then he told me what was the plan, according to him. And then he said, Tau is going to pay his way out. If that fails, he will escape. If the second one fails of escaping, he will eliminate the investigating officers, meaning he will kill them. Then I said, he's just making stories. That's not going to happen, meaning getting bail, not talking about killing or escaping. I was talking about bail because I was so strong that the case that we had against him is actually very strong.
Witness A.
What happened on the second?
Witness A, you say the WhatsApp call was from open quote someone, close quote. Did you establish from whose phone this call was made?
Yes, it was from Mr.
I missed that. I'm looking at the statement, and because I sort of suspected that you did mention the name now, I whispered to my co-commissioner. He, like me, missed the name as well. I'm very sorry. I was looking at the someone in the statement. Thank you very much.
Yes, Commissioner, thank you. And then now I reported this call only to the second witness because I didn't really make something big out of it. I said, I told her to say, hey, I got the call from this person because now she knows him because we've just attended the call. This is what he is saying, but I didn't take it as something serious. Only to be surprised on the following day that Tau really was granted. Then it kind of changed the whole situation.
When you say it changed the whole situation, what are you referring to?
It confirmed what Lala had said to me on the first. And then it also confirmed what he used to be saying, like along to say this person is connected to the Milife who is connected to the cartels. And then it confirmed to say, when he said they will pay their way out, or if that doesn't happen, they will kill the investigating team. Then I could see that one of what he said, one thing of the three things that he said will happen, has just happened. So now it meant we needed to run fast to stop them doing maybe the second or the third step on the things that he said.
Now,
and then I called him again. on WhatsApp call. And then as I called him, he said, when he answered the call, he said, yes, I told you. The problem is when I tell you things you do not want to understand. And it was just before even our office knew that that was been granted. Then he said, I told you, the problem you do not want to listen to me when I tell you things. Then I asked him, how did you know? Then he told me that he was called by General Shibiri, who told him that, hey, Tau had just been released in Vereeniging bail of that. Now, my suspicions that I had that were not confirmed were coming to reality now to say, hey, what I was suspecting with the parties going to his office, could it be that he knows something that we...
What?
And then,
Witness?
yes, Commissioner.
Yes, what did you understand him, or what did he mean when he said, he also said that I did not want to listen to him when he tells me about such things. What does that mean? You discuss with him ordinarily and his place in your work?
He will tell me a lot of things about this case. Amongst the things that he will tell me is to say, hey, recuse yourself from this investigation because it is dangerous. The people that are behind this case are actually dangerous. You will get yourself killed. Then I will take it as if just someone who just want to intimidate you. Don't say, hey, it always happens. And then he will go on and say, the person that you're working with, who's now witness B, is not telling you that she has already received money in order for her to release Tau or not to oppose bail for Tau. Then I told him that is impossible, it's not going to happen. So in a nutshell, those are the things that he was telling me. But the 2nd of August, it means that we needed to work very fast to alert our commanders at the very highest level of what has happened and what was coming along, because most of the things, it was just between me and Witness B and maybe a few other people, but not reported directly to the senior officer. But on that day, we thought that we actually need to report this and lay the foundation as we were coming from the first appearance to this day, so that the senior officers can take a decision from there. But other than that, we were feeling scared. We were feeling really, really scared, to such that I requested to be provided with security from that day, to be taken to the place where the meeting was going to be in order for us to pave the way forward. And then we held a meeting that took us not through the night, but it took us late into the night, trying to think what it is that we need to do, how are we going to approach this, who is going to be looking at our safety, because at the meantime we were also waiting for the TRA application that was in place, that was applied for.
You say that, I hope I won't be making you repeat something that you said. You say that at the time you had the telephonic interaction with Mr. Njala.
Yes.
Only 2 of you investigators were remaining. Originally, as I understand, there were 5 of you, not so?
That is correct.
What had since happened to the other 3 investigators?
The other 3 investigators had recused themselves.
And what you said had recused themselves, that's I'm used to that term being used in the context of judicial officers or people who preside even in tribunals or other adjudicative fora. So I'm not used to it in the context of investigators. Can you explain what you mean?
Yes, Chairperson, I'm using it in lack of a better term to use, but they have gone out of the investigation. They were no longer part of the investigation.
They had withdrawn. They had
English term for that.
They had withdrawn as investigators.
That is correct. Thank you, Chairperson. Yes, they had already withdrawn themselves from investigation.
The reasons being?
They didn't really give a reason, because their withdrawal was not a kind of a formal withdrawal to sit down around the table to say, because of reason 1, 2, and 3, I'm deciding to withdraw myself.
May I ask this direct question? From the testimony of General Mkwanazi, the distinct impression we were given is that investigators withdrew because of the threats that were brought to bear upon all the investigators. Would that be, which I believe was part of what led to 10 members of the PKTT being brought to Gauteng? Is that factually correct or not?
That would be correct, Commissioner. But what I was saying is that there was no formal withdrawal to sit around the table to say, for reason number 1 or 2, I'm withdrawing myself. But I think the pressure that the team was facing could have amounted to them to withdraw themselves.
Thank you, Chair. You were still on the issue of Tau's bail, and we are at paragraph 65 on page 21. Could you just read that into the record? And while you're doing that, we will display WA3, which is on page 56 and 57. It is redacted. The display will be redacted. But if I could ask you to look at your hard copy after you've read this into the record.
Yes, Commissioners, I've got my hard copy. It will be page 56 and 57. I'm
Yes.
correct, Commissioner?
Yes. Can you tell us what it is that we're looking at without mentioning the name of the person who's sending this message?
Yes.
You may proceed.
I'm just preparing to read them out.
Okay, we're looking specifically at the one on the 15th of July, 2024.
Yes.
It says chat 1. Do you have it
Check
with you?
one. Yes, I have it with me. Can I just please switch on the light, because it is quite dark where I am?
I'm asking you not to look at the one that's on the screen because it's redacted and you won't see some of the information.
I think he says it's dark.
Yes, I want to read it
He
from
wants
the
the
hard copy,
light.
but I just need to switch on the light, the place where I am.
Please do so.
I can see clearly.
Okay.
Yes, Commissioners.
WitnessA, if I can ask you to first read paragraph 65 of your statement into the record, and then we will go to the WhatsApp chat on page 56. So first read 65.
Yes, the paragraph 65 goes as follows. It says, our investigation also revealed that in a WhatsApp chat on the 14th of July 2024, someone sent a message to Mulife saying, appearance for bail application today. Next court appearance, bail will be granted for. Tau's next appearance was indeed on the 2nd of August 2024, and he was granted bail. On that day, Mulife sent a message to that person saying bail granted with emojis. The next extract from this chat is attached as the paper that I'm having here.
Okay, so then if we can then go to page 56, which is WA3, do you know where this chat came from whose phone this chat came from?
Yes, it came from the downloads of Mr. Mulife's phone.
Sorry, you say the download from Mr. Mulefe's phone?
Yes.
When was his phone obtained?
His phone was obtained during his arrest on the 6th of December 2024.
Thank you. Can we then go back to your statement at paragraph 66? Can you tell us what happened?
Before you go to 66, these exchanges between you and, you say, Mr. Ndlala, where in advance he tells you what the plan is, and you describe this in paragraph 63. You say there was a clear plan what would happen regarding the bail. First, he would be granted bail. Secondly, if he was not granted bail, he would escape from custody. Thirdly, if 1 and 2 failed, the investigating officers would be eliminated. And then you say it was at this point where I was advised to leave the investigation. And then you again in the next paragraph say you called him back, where you say I called the person, in paragraph 64. In the third line, you say, I called the person who informed me that that is Mr. Ndlala. You called Mr. Ndlala.
That's correct.
All right, and then that would be granted bail. Before I could tell him what happened, he laughed and said he told me this would happen. He also said that I didn't want to listen to him when he tells me about such things. He said this in a boastful way, without disclosing anything that might be sensitive about Mr. Ndlala and your engagements with him. Did you consider why would he know this kind of detail? That there was a plan, and he details it in the way that I have set it out, and that Mr. Dawu would be released, and in fact, Mr. Dawu does get released.
That's correct. That was one of my concerns, to the extent that I did ask him as to how did he came about to know that he had just been released, because it was a new information. So now I thought he knew more than I knew about the case that I was investigating, meaning that he had a connection somewhere with the people that were involved in the case. That was my understanding of the situation at the time.
Yes. He's not an employee. Mr. Ndlala, you say categorically he's not an employee of the SAPS.
He's not an employee of the SAPS, as far as I will understand.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gauteng.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi. Witness A, we were at page 21, paragraph 66 of your statement, where you were dealing with the aftermath of Mr. Tau's bail application succeeding and him being released on bail.
Yes. Then we had a long meeting on the 2nd, that now we took a decision that we need to take steps, report these things to the general, who is now General Kuman, who is the head of detectives in the province, Brigadier Khopane, who is our immediate commander, FS. And then this was now on a Saturday, and my leave was starting. I was supposed to have gone somewhere for leave, but I thought I cannot leave until I see that being help on this. And then now we started to be engaged in what I call as a runaround. We were driving around Gauteng trying to figure out what it is that we're going to do, because it was not safe to drive to our places. It was not safe to even go to the office. The police were also involved in this. We're trying to get hold of Brigadier Hopan on the phone, and then she was not around the province. She was attending at the funeral outside the province, and then the network was bad. The phone was not going through. Now we wanted to get a hold of General Kuman, who is the head of detective. We didn't want to report to any other person junior to those two. But now the challenge that we had, we did not have direct communication with the general at the time. So we were thinking of who was going to connect us to the general and actually be able to lay the frustrations that we're having, and then why we needed to see him, because actually we needed to go to him, even though it was on the weekend, to say this is the problem that we're sitting with. We knew that he knew about the case, but we were not discussing the case openly with him at the time.
It's Witness A, can I just ask you, you say that you couldn't get hold of Brigadier Hopani to get assistance. Why didn't you contact your direct commander, Colonel Mokoena?
As I mentioned before, that the directive that we had received from Brigadier Popane was that anything that has to do with this case should be reported to her or to the general only, no one else. So we were taking it to that level to say we think the person who can be in a capacity to assist us now will be the brigadier or the general.
And when you speak of the general and you say General Khumalo, could we just ask you to be specific, because there are many General Khumalos, at least two. So if you could be specific to give the name. So in this instance, you say it's General Mbuso Khumalo.
That is correct. This is General Mbuso Khumalo, who is the head of detectives in the province in Gauteng.
Okay, you may continue.
And then we thought of one of our colleagues who thought he may have a direct communication with the general, and then we drove straight to his house, and then we told him what was happening, and then he tried to call the general there and then, but unfortunately the general could not pick up. Then he said no, we should relax, the general is going to come back. In fact, he was going to send a detailed WhatsApp message to the general for the general to come either back to him or to us, and then I felt at ease that I could drive outside of the provinces I was going on leave, knowing that the general is going to attend to us at any time.
You also say that you reported the matter to the prosecutor. Can you elaborate on that, please?
The matter was also reported to the prosecutor, but with the prosecutor we had an open communication with every development. So even this one, it was up to the prosecutor to say this is the challenge that we're facing. But actually she actually understood the problem that we're facing, and then she asked us about the TRA that we have applied earlier on. Then we told her that we haven't received any results. And then she took it up to herself to write it to our commanders and give them the background of the situation that we're facing, and requesting them to see to it that we are provided with security, not only for us, but also of the docket that we carry.
Why was it important to provide security for the docket as well?
It is because that now we thought that if they do not find us, they will want to find the docket. Once they find the docket, then you will have a problem, because now you won't be having the docket, like the physical docket, gone. That was just our thought. It's not that we knew that this is what. To the extent that this docket was not kept where we will keep our docket at the office in our still locked cabinets. We were driving around with it wherever we were going, which was posing another danger to us.
Did you or Witness B ever get hold of General Mbuso Khumalo?
It is General Mbuso Khumalo who came back to us after, I believe, having received the communication from the member that assisted us to get through to him.
So you spoke to the general?
The general phoned me.
And what did he say?
I spoke to him, and then he told me that he has heard what has happened, and then he told me that he would want to see us very soon so that we can discuss a way forward. And then I told him that I was on leave, but I was willing to withdraw my leave and come to work. Then he said, no, there won't be a need. As long as I am safe wherever I was, he will be communicating or making any arrangements that will be made with Witness B until I come back from leave. And then as soon as I came back from leave, we went to General's office. And then he addressed us, he asked us some questions, and then he told us that he's going to assist wherever he can. And then he just gave us the layout, what his wish and what he thinks should happen to this investigation.
Okay, can I just take you a step back while you were still on leave at paragraph 69 on page 22? You speak about an event that occurred on the 8th of August. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes. On the 8th of August, I would have been on leave, because I think I came back on leave on the 6th, and I'm correct. And then I was informed by Witness B that the TRA has been conducted, the threat risk assessment had been conducted, and it was classified as high risk, which in other words meant that our lives were extremely in danger.
And who conducted that TRA?
Sorry, I didn't get that, Commissioners.
Who conducted that TRA?
It was Colonel Nduli from Crime Intelligence.
Okay, proceed.
Yes, then when I came back, we started doing our investigation. Then we will be meeting with the officers that were assessing our risk, getting information from us, asking us how we're feeling. That is what we were told. But I would believe that they were also checking the places that we were staying at, even though I didn't know that. But there were background checks that were done as I did.
Okay. And then at paragraph 70, you speak about an incident.
Before you go to 70, Witness A, you say in paragraph 67 that you could not, the language you use is you say we could not speak to General Shibiri. And so we thought that we should try to get hold of Major General Mbuso Khumalo. Why could you not speak? Why did you decide that you could not speak to General Shibiri?
We had already been advised, commissioners, to say we must not discuss this case with him, if I may say it. And then also the confusion that happened with the parties and us going to his office. We at this time, up until today, we hadn't figured out if it was him assisting us or if it was him trying to get information from the docket and everything. So it was safe to deal with the people trusted.
So the reason you decided not to speak to him, it was a trust issue. You didn't think you could trust him.
I will put it in that way.
Yes. Ordinarily, if there were no trust issues and you were dealing with this problem that you find yourselves in, and you can't get hold of your immediate superior, I think Brigadier Hopani, ordinarily who would you speak to? Would it have been Shibiri, General Shibiri?
No, it would have been General Musu Kumalo because he's at the provisional level, and then General Shibiri is at the national level. So I will exhaust the means of trying to get hold of General Kumalo at the provincial level, and then going to national level will be extreme.
Yes. So in terms of hierarchy, the right person, if you couldn't find Brigadier Hopane, you're saying General Kumalo, Mbuso Kumalo would have been the next person that you speak to if you followed the hierarchy.
That's correct, Commissioner. That will be the next person that you will have to speak to.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gamba.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloy. Okay, so we are now at paragraph 70 on page 22, where you speak about an incident that occurred in the week of the 12th of August when you returned from leave. Can you just tell us about that?
Yes. Now I had already resumed duties. Then we were doing normal investigation on this case. And maybe it should be mentioned that we were doing this case and other cases that we already had at the office. So it would be this case and other cases, depending what investigation we have on other cases. And then we were called to come to the office. And then the information was that there were two officers who were waiting for us or who needed to meet with us at the office. And then we drove to the office. And then we found these two police officers at our office now, at the Organized Crime Office. And then they told us they are from the cold case unit. And then they requested that we give them over docket of Swart murder. And one of these warrant officers was identified to us as Dion Mulahodzi, who works at the cold cases office. And then we refused. We said we cannot because that's procedurally that was wrong. You can't just give a docket to someone because they're requesting for the docket, let alone that this was the sensitive matter that we are investigating. Even if it was just a normal docket that had no threats and everything, you cannot just say, okay, here's a docket you're looking for. Heaven.
Witness A, the form of request, did they have a letter with them or was it a verbal request?
It was a verbal request.
And who is the head of the cold case unit or who was at the time?
I really do not have complete information. I only heard that the head of the cold case unit will be Brigadier, got the name, he's Brigadier Keninda, yes, he's heading it, but I have not seen the structure of that unit. I don't know if that is true.
And just for our benefit, what is a cold case in the context of the South African police system?
The cold case is a term given to the cases that one would say they are lying dormant. They have been opened and then there is no breakthrough for a certain period of time. Then they will be referred to as a cold case, which will then mean that they need a certain or a different approach from a mainstream approach that maybe the station or any other unit will be giving. Then they are ordinarily transferred or given to the cold case unit. But this one of us, it was a fresh case and it was not called in a way that the people were already arrested and it was caught going. So it didn't really fit the category of it being investigated at unit to start with.
So you, as one of the investigators, had not yet formed a view that you've hit a dead end with this case?
No. Actually, the progress on the case was wonderful. We were having leads. We were getting closer to even arresting fourth suspect. And then we had good linkages to the suspect that we had already arrested. So there is no way that it could have been referred to as a cold case at that stage.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Is it, Witness A, is it not possible that whoever approached you may have considered this to be a cold case because you were not discussing it with anyone? You've testified that a very small circle of people knew anything about this case as per instructions and there was good reason for it. Is it not possible that there may not have been anything sinister with these two gentlemen who come and ask for it, for the docket?
I wouldn't think so, Commissioner, because even if that would have been the case, the time frame did not allow for this case to be categorized as such. And then besides that, this case was all over the news. You will go around, you will know about this case to say the 3 people that were arrested for the murder of Mr. Swart. And for the fact that there was a police officer that was arrested for it, on it, it will be like all over in the media and also all over in our own connections in the police, our groups and everything. So it was known that it was court gold.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloy. Witness A, we're still on page 23 of your statement. And at paragraph 71, you talk about a meeting that occurred on the 20th of August, 2024. Can you tell us what happened at that meeting?
Yes, this meeting happened just for us so that we can be able to give the progress of the case to the general, because now the general was taking this case under his wing to say we need to report to him the challenges that we are facing so that he can see where he can assist and give a guidance or a guiding investigation, and also the challenges that now the personal challenges in terms of the threats that we are having. So this was one meeting of the regular meetings that we're having with the general. Some will be just over the phone if he has time. If he doesn't have time, then if he has time, he will call us to his office to say, brief me, what is happening here? More so because now Tao was out on bail, and then we needed now to be investigating the murder case, and then also putting an eye on him, on his movement.
And you speak about the responsibility for your safety and security of the docket. What transpired there?
Oh yes, that was solely taken over by General Kumalo, and then he told us that he will see to it, will get the assistance that we need in terms of safety. And then he introduced us to the people that were going to assist us in terms of protection.
And who was that who was now responsible for your safety and the security of the docket?
We were introduced to General Kekana, who is, I think, the head of the uniform units, to say he will provide you with the members that will be in charge of your safety or your protection while you are doing the docket and while you are off duty. And then at the same time, there was another wing of the police that was going to be working behind the scenes, which I'm not at liberty to talk about their operations because I don't know about them, but they are from counterintelligence. They were doing the TRA, they were doing the background checks, they were seeing the severity of the risk, and then maybe reporting to the generals. They were also part of the operation.
You refer in your statement at paragraph 71 to a counterintelligence investigation. Is that what you just mentioned now, or is that something else?
Initially, the counterintelligence came in as far as giving protection and assessing the situation, maybe which then led to the counterintelligence investigation to say the investigation itself, now the overall investigation should need to be taken under the counterintelligence. I will talk to that extent. But initially, it was not the counterintelligence doing investigation. It was us doing investigation under their protection up until the time when now we were introduced to their wing of investigation, which included the PKTT, as it is called.
Okay. At paragraph 72, maybe that would be the concluding topic for today. You speak about events of the 5th of September 2024. Can you just tell us what happened on that day?
This one was one of the eventful days because we were not already provided with the units that were going to guard us. So we were visited at home late at night by the unit that needed to guide us or guard us or provide protection to us and our families as we were sleeping. And then it came as a surprise because we were not really noticed or given a notice to say people were going to visit at night. From my side, I heard by the sirens outside. And then when I opened the window, I saw 5 marked police vehicles with the sirens and blue lights on. And then when I went to them, they told that they were being tasked to come protection to me overnight. And then in the morning, the other team was going to take over. That one will be the TRT. And then we will be doing investigation. And then the other team that came at night will change. They were changing shifts.
So was it 24-hour protection?
It was actually the start of a 24-hour protection.
Thank you, Chair. I think this may be a convenient time to adjourn for the day.
Let us adjourn and resume at 9:30 tomorrow.